Define those travels as you can, as the song always says. What's going on, everyone? Hello, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples of the world. I hope everyone is doing okay. Welcome to March 19th, 2024. It is 4:08 p.m. Eastern here, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to episode 416 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that we do here every Tuesday from either 4 to 7 or 4:15 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. Eastern, focusing on story and narrative in games, and we're continuing that today with day 2 of Sovereign Syndicate, which I had a good time with the first time, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that story goes. Before we go any further, just a couple of quick reminders. If you haven't done so already, please follow us here on the channel. Please check out, if you have not done so already, and consider subscribing to us here on the channel so you can get those custom sub badges and emotes, DRM free of course, to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. And please consider clicking through and checking out our individual channels, because we have our own individual subsystems and Patreons and all that kind of good stuff as well. As I said, Sovereign Syndicate today. Next week we are going to be doing some more Ghosts of Saltmarsh. There is a little bit of some possible schedule conflict stuff, but hopefully not. So we should hopefully be good to go with some Ghosts of Saltmarsh next week as we continue on. And I should also mention that on my own channel tomorrow night is going to be some community Dungeons and Dragons, which will involve the Shadow Crew. So if you're interested in watching some other tabletop play, I would invite you to my channel tomorrow night at, I believe it is 8 p.m. Eastern, for some Waterdeep Dragon Heist with the Shadow Crew. Shadowed Mage is your DM. Echo Alpha X5, well known to people on this channel, is one of the players in that, and so on. So consider going there if you like the role-playing you are about to see now. And with that, let me turn on this. There we go. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. I hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, welcome. We are here, ready to go. I am prepared. I am, in fact, the Datalorian. This is the way. I am the Datalorian, but it's good to see everybody, and I hope everyone is looking forward to the session today. Really enjoyed Sovereign Syndicate last time. This is an unusual game that is very much in the obvious comparison is Disco Elysium, and it very much is in that mode, although it is, because it's set in a Victorian world, and because it's told from 3 different characters' perspectives, alternating perspectives, that creates a little bit of a difference. We played a lot with the second character in this, but the third one, who is a dwarf, I gather, with some kind of robot friend or something, we have not played yet. The Minotaur we played to begin with, although not very long. That wasn't a very long chapter. Very long second chapter with this person who is a lady of ill repute. She is a woman of high society, if you know what I'm saying. So we've been playing through her story, and then next up, I guess, is this dwarf with robot thing, although we have not met him yet. So, but I am looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. So let's head over to reveal what we have here. There have not been any updates for this game. I checked it, so we are good to go with what we have here. So let us make this happen. And also hi to Darth Sisu, to Surprise Bees. I feel like that's redundant, though, right? Bees are always surprising. One is always surprised by the buzz, so to speak, as it were. Okay, let us load game. And this is me right here. Right, Claire Reed. A disreputable Canadian by the name of Greenstreet seems to be your best bet at the moment if he very plainly cannot be trusted. But what we discovered last time was that his asking price is too significant, I believe. So, let me see. We have to investigate the recent murders. We're trying to search for more fans. And we're supposed to meet with Madame Zora. I don't remember exactly where Madame Zora is, though, he said doubtfully. Let me see. At the Velvet Rose upstairs at the Palladium. And let's see. Felipe, Fan Collector, the Courtesan Killer. Okay. So I don't know this thing about the Fisherman's Bride. Or where I could frankly gather more information about that. Her story, yes. Very different. It's actually a crossover. I don't know if you knew that. I think I've already been in this bathhouse And I don't think there's anything that I can do in here, because I think I already did it. Right. And he's not going to let me go anywhere. Right, I already did that changing area thing. Right, I already got that money. Okay, right. Yes. Okay. All right, so I did that already. I don't want to necessarily do the Madame Zora thing. And the thing is that they're talking about, like, loose ends. So that makes me think that what I need to do is go to a place that I haven't gone yet. Right, he's still not here. Yep. Alright, so I'm in Red Lantern Lane. I guess I can go to Cable Street. I honestly don't know where I'm supposed to go next. The Sacred Heart Orphanage sits on a large piece of land off Cable Street, gifted to the parish by a noble family left for the countryside. The street doesn't get much foot traffic aside from the odd vagrant, and the orphans make a pastime of throwing pebbles and rotten fruit from behind the gates, especially at anyone well-heeled. At the moment, you're mostly alone, save for a few pedestrians. In a more dangerous area of London, that might be of greater cause for concern, though here the worst you should fear is a well-aimed, fateful banana. The more you consider that fact, however, the more anxiety wells up from some deep place in your chest. It seems unlikely that Dolores would be happy to see your dress covered in moldering fruitage so soon after the last time. You step free of the morning mist and onto the curved street. The orphanage towers above the dry grass and dusty, flat premises inside the gates. I don't think I've been here yet. I have not been here yet. Grain is cheap and comes in large quantities. No wonder sacks like these are so ubiquitous. I have lots of gears and cogs that I've gotten. Lots of gears and cogs. The Royal Mail Service. A postman still hand delivers much of the mail, but if the distance is significant, an automaton carrier pigeon dispatches the letters after being sorted at the local office. I wouldn't trust just anybody with such personal content. Oh, wait. Rusted and cast aside, this automaton is no longer worth more than his weight in scrap metal. Pity. I must admit I have little experience with such creations. The vast majority I've met have been little more than fanciful mechanisms made for labor. The limited and canned responses always seemed a bit eerie to me. Why gift them with speech if you intend only to use them as cheap labor? Does that grind your gears? Grind my gears! It speaks to an unpleasant impulse of control, at least to me. So all of these are different elements of her personality that are leading to these questions or comments. Perhaps it's for the best that the ones I've encountered don't yet seem capable of sagacity. What about Teddy Redgrave? He and Otto are inseparable, and Otto seemed quite clever already when last I saw him. I think Teddy Redgrave is the last person we have to play. Teddy spoke of plans to upgrade him all the more. True enough. Still, you won't see me having any deep conversations with the average tin willies that roam the streets. Perhaps when the technology is further along. What a lovely carriage. I imagine it's remarkably elegant when in motion, drawn by strong, graceful white stallions. Or something like that. Really anything would do. Definitely the finest stallions. The coachman would sit here and I might say, Bernard, fetch my glove from the compartment, if you please, and make haste. We must make it to the back by sundown so I may withdraw 1 million pounds. Not a polymath, so I'll check this. Couldn't hurt to look, could it, to see if people really live that way? There is something in here. Saints, if the owners truly wanted it, they should have done a better job locking it up. 3 shillings and a bottle of perfume. Not bad at all. Hello, team of horses. These are magnificent animals. It's a shame they have to toil under the yoke all day. I suppose we all do with that. Yeah, I definitely was not here before. I've taken rooms like these all across Europe. I shudder to think of those naffy decorations and the rickety chairs ready to snap at any moment. Of course, the royal suite is far more comfortable. Apple crate. Still a fresh piece of fruit in here. Okay. That may have some value later. Quick save. This path leads straight into London's industrial sector. Nothing but factories and workhouses. These buildings are unerringly grim. Yeah, I know, I lost hope. $85, still hopeful. Normally I respond with hope to things, but more gears and cogs. Man. I crate. Repent! What's up, Echo? Olivia's twist. She ought to be. Okay. There we go. Now we are heading in to... Oh. I think maybe we're not. Interesting. Is that... Yeah, oh, there's the Iron Gate. Okay, I was going to say, I was like, I thought there was some way to get in here. The orphanage where those children went missing. A dreary place. Best to avoid it. Oh. Okay, that's exciting. Alright, that's... I guess that's all. Alright, that was Cable Street. Let's go to... Beggar's Lane? That's the Bell Jar Hotel. Let's go to Tenter Street, shall we? Think of a condemned side alley in a poor part of London where the public services are infrequent and children play in the filthy streets, unwatched by their parents working all day at the factories. Cheap wooden shutters hang from the shattered holes of looted tenements like so many black eyes after a night of bar fights. Nice. Old rags stretch along the clotheslines, and rats make a house in the rubbish. Aside from the curio shop, there isn't much worth visiting here, leaving you to tread the mucky road with your collar to the wind, looking just about as hopeless as the residents themselves. Where am I? Rotten fruit. Brits really have a remarkable diversity when it comes to produce. I suppose I can thank colonialism for that. And much like colonialism, fruit selling seems to result in a whole lot of destruction. Well, they do look recent. I imagine if I carefully sifted through the fallen fruitage, I'd find something edible. Aha, there's a decent apple there in the pile of rotten ones. Yum. Thanks, British Empire. You really were a force for good today. I'll bet. I can see broken porcelain in the rubble. Perhaps this was a laundry or a beauty parlor. Or else someone forgot to pay Molly her protection money. She's been known to exact fiery revenge in the past. Yep. Boy, do I have a lot of gears and cogs. Buy a watch, sir or madam. Wristwatches. How dull must someone be to always need to know the time? Alright, let's find out what's in this curio shop. Breathe in the sweet, dusty smell of the second hand and step into the collection of Anselina Kemeny. Before running the shop, she worked as a knife grinder, umbrella mender, and beehive maker, collecting her rag and bone wares in the meantime. Animal horn windows admit a greenish daylight. Cheaper than glass, they're the best she could afford. For the past 10 years, Anselina has made a home here, and the curio shop is well known in the East End and beyond. To fit her wares, she hammered in shelves at all angles so that a tall customer has to watch their head. There are taxidermied creatures and jewel-eyed fetishes, tin soldiers, wind-up toys, and ragdoll marionettes, as well as rarities too bizarre to mention, peering down from the rafters or the top of a tilted cabinet. Instruments. I'm certain I could learn to play something, but I have more a knack for singing. Iron Maiden. Lovely. A brutal contraption for the mashing of flesh. I suppose it's only a decoration, but still, it's a dreadful thing. An old-fashioned Romani Vardo. In many ways, the nomadic life was simpler and happier. Best not lose myself in those memories now. All right, Anselina. Anselina has a well-kept shop despite being packed full of gewgaws, knickknacks, and bagatelles. Miss Kemeny, hello. How is business? Always better when you come around, dear. A pretty face is better than a dozen candles for lighting up the place. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm always on the lookout for a new ladies' fan. If you have something particularly stylish or unusual, that is. Well, I have this. I don't know if it's stylish, but I'll let you have it for a shilling. It's not fancy, but pretty enough for 1 shilling. Yes, I'll take it, thank you. My pleasure. Have you acquired any interesting new trinkets of late? No, but I have something much better than a trinket. This little item fell into my hands just yesterday. She produces a tidy leather case, obviously not for cigarettes. This here is an alternative to carrying around keys. Perhaps you've seen it before? Should you find yourself locked out of your flat late at night, or if you lose the key to your steamer trunk, this'll fix you right up. A familiar problem indeed. This particular lockpick has a whiff of magic to it, if you've got the nose to sense it, that is. I believe I've heard of such tools before. How much do you want for this one? £3 sterling. You have a deal. I'm sure this will come in handy. Magic lockpick. Can only hope that it serves you well. It's nice to see you, Miss Kameni. I'll be on my way. You're welcome back any time. It's lovely having you stop by. Lockpick imbued with a spell that increases durability and resistance to basic magical effects. That's pretty good. Okay. Alright, easy enough. Okay. That was exciting. And by exciting, I mean that was uneventful. All right, train station. So we did Tenter Street, Beggar's Lane, Sara Square. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find some of these side quests, because the main quest stuff says, like, you know, tie up any loose ends before you leave. And right now I've got a few. Identify the recent murders, or investigate the recent murders. Search for more fans. Discover more about Felipe's romance. So I'm just doing a little bit of, like, searching around for this stuff to pick up on these lines. Okay, that's not very exciting. I have already been to these places, but I didn't know if I would pick up something else when I got here. Okay, is there anything going on in Nandy's shop? Basically doing one more loop before I go back and continue with the, in quotes, main quest. Doesn't look like it. Looks like I've done as much as I can do for the moment. I hope these side quests don't go anywhere. But it made me nervous because they were like, you know, you want to tie up any loose ends. And I'm like, does that mean that I won't be able to get back here if I don't finish these side quests? Later on? Is that what we're talking about? You have any info for me, Gulliver Dawson? All right. Poster threatening werewolves. I've already seen that. Head up here. Again, this is just clearing up any loose ends. I have like 3 side quests, and I don't know whether any of these side quests are solvable now or doable now. I'm guessing that they're not solvable now. I'm guessing that these are things I'm going to find out about later. But it's your boy Willard Rathbone. Welcome back. Ticket to shine any of my peerless specimens? This here is Wallace. Just let him smell you first and he'll be your loyal confidant. Nice, Wallace. He's having a bad day. Never mind him, I'm sure you'll be fast friends before long. You certainly have some standouts. How intriguing. I'll know where to find you next time. Okay. Okay, well. So, the only thing left to do now is head over... Nope, 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 nope. Anything else, Eli McBride, the preacher? Let's see. Greetings once more. I had a change of heart about the word of God. Wish to say hello. Send my greetings to your Lord, Father. Okay, so Saris Square. Let me hit up the St. Catherine docks. And then the last thing will be to go to Beggar's Lane. I'm basically just picking up, you know, things that I may have missed before. Although, as I say, I have a feeling I can't do any of this until later. I've talked to Glenn Forrester. Shuttered till later in the day. A stunning invention for its time, though a bit dated now, what with the steam-powered velocimotives I've seen along the avenue. The spokes are patinated with rust. It must not be getting much use. All the same, I'm surprised it hasn't been stolen sitting out in the open like this. Let's see, something else I can do you for? A woman of ill repute made a grisly demise in the East End last night, just days from the full moon. The sinister assailant left a body stripped of vital organs and bearing marks suggesting feral claws. St. John's Cathedral is offering a service on her behalf. Alms appreciated. See, madam? That story's so hot off the press it might catch your fingers afire. Watch out! It's not fire I'm worried about. Something else I can do you for, madam? Nothing at the moment, Poppet. Must be on my way. Talk to the collie. Okay, I already took care of him. Swivel crane. Okay. Helena Bailey. Still loitering here for no particular reason. Let's see. Ask about Helena. I had a chat with Helena. What do you think of her? Oh, it could be worse. I've heard a dockhound with a steel jaw implanted. At least Helena's never started trouble with me directly. Any roads so close to the tavern we must abide the hounds. How are things at the wharf? As they always are. Fog, smoke, and work. The lot of every Londoner. Okay, take care of yourself, Timothy. Alright. See you, Felipe. Okay, let me go sell this, all these gears. And then I guess we're going to the main area. Looks like I cannot do anything else with side quest stuff right now. Alright, Dante Ziegler. Yeah. Lot of money. If I can be quite honest, a doe once outsmarted me while caught in my spring trap. Didn't thrash, didn't scream, played dead till I ended the loop, round her ankle, and then bolted off. Could have shot her as she ran, but I let her live. You remind me of her. While I appreciate the candor, I hesitate to accept your compliment. Smart woman. Okay, so he doesn't believe me. Right. Okay. So the time has come. Sar Square, let's go. Okay, we're going to Pavel's Pinfold, and then we're making our way up to where the next story-based thing is. Pavel Gerard, the rat catcher. Okay. Poe Pickett. Dawson. Oh, it was his brother who sells fruit. I was wondering. I was like, he looks and sounds similar. Oh, I did this already. Okay. I did this already. Okay. All right. Let's go. We've already been here, so let's hit up the... let's go to where we need to go. "40 consecutive streams. Wow. Well, thank you, Strider, for being one of those people who watches a ton of stuff. We are most appreciative. Thank you, Strider. Congratulations. That's a lot of streams. Wait a minute. Where am I meeting with her? The Velvet Rose at the Palladium. All right, where's the Palladium? That's where it is. My pleasure for my part of it. Oh, we may not have been here yet. Many a starry night saw me snatch 40 winks in wagons' backs. The days I spent running with Calvin's Romani caravans are long behind me now. Clearly not, because every time you see a wagon, you're like, oh man, that was the best time. Julian Bertram O'Brien, orphans missing from Sacred Heart Orphanage. Small reward furnished upon any information leading to their safe return. Please have a heart for our poor children. Runaways or a kidnapping? Ladsman. Yeah, we talked about the Ladsman thing already, actually. Smell alone is enough for me to avoid the underground. Rumors abound of the creatures down there. Oversized cane rats with teeth as long as knives. I have no reason to venture down there right now. Really? I don't entirely know that I agree. Troubled woman. Old woman. Man. This woman loiters around the entrance like she's making up her mind to go inside, but she's far too keen-eyed to be a customer. You there, hello. Do you work on the Palladium's first floor? Before I answer, I must say I have a sneaking suspicion it isn't the lovely Toffers who have you interested in the Velvet Rose. By the way she just raised her eyebrows, I can't tell if she's taken aback or impressed. Replying to a question with a question was the first trick I learned when I became a journalist. Placing a hand over her heart, she backsteps with a slight bow. My apologies. Ivana Orsini, reporter for the London Journal. Pleased to make your acquaintance, miss. Not a curtsy or a handshake, but a bow. Quite a Tom thing to do. Clara Von Trump IV, Countess of the Velvet Rose. Clara Reed, and yes, I do work at the Velvet Rose. Now that we've exchanged pleasantries, I'll tell you why I need to get inside the Velvet Rose. I'm here for an interview with Dr. Clancy Wainwright. This story will flip London on its head, but you keep that between us. I managed to succeed. Dr. Clancy Wainwright is an on-again, off-again client of the Rose, as well as the general director of Bethnal House. I doubt a brothel is the best setting to conduct an interview. Would you rather I extract him? The excited glint in her eye says the opposite. If Dr. Wainwright actually responded to the telegram I sent to his assistant 8 months ago, I would be jotting down his answers in the comfort of his office at Bethnal House. She fishes out a telegram with an air of vindication. To the esteemed Dr. Wainwright, on behalf of the London Journal, an interview is requested on the merit that you were in the process of producing a cure for lycanthropy. Please respond at your earliest convenience. It further lists her name, occupation, and where to reach her. No hint of insidiousness in the telegram's tone. It's quite upfront. Not another suppressant, but an honest-to-God cure? That'd be the greatest breakthrough since the Turner's morphine. So why isn't he shouting at his achievement from the rooftops? You suspect he's hiding something. You didn't hear it from me. However, there's a reasonable excuse that can be made if someone on the board at Bethnal House is forcing Wainwright to hold his tongue. To keep their hospital from gaining notoriety and royal funding? Unlikely. I couldn't agree more. There's also the possibility that Wainwright is worried the drug club would retaliate. Oops, I forgot to see what it was. Darn it, I didn't see what the percentages are. Damn. Can't profit each month on expensive lichen salves if your customers are cured. Aye, perhaps not, but if the doctor's onto something, there'll be such demand the drug club will have to work with him somehow. Who ends up with a lion's share of profits is hard to say. But that's why a bit of journalism is in order. It's true. The public needs to know what's going on behind the scenes. Which brings me to my one teensy request from you, Miss Clara. How's about helping me get inside the Velvet Rose? Just mark the window of the doctor's room with this chalk, then flick the snib so I can shimmy it open from the window ledge. If she confronts Dr. Wainwright in the room where he's to be entertained, he'll have a hard time weaseling out of the interview. Does she mean to scale the building? She does have the lithe body for it. Yeah, I'll help her. Oh, Clara, you're the most dashing lady of the night I've ever met. And believe you me, I've met more than my fair share. She tucks a stick of chalk into my front pocket, then with a wink she turns away, pretending as if we were once again strangers on the street. Oh, and this is where What's-His-Face started. This is where, the Minotaur started. An old leaflet from the Christian Mission. Heard they tried providing fresh sustenance across East London before insufficient funding sank their scheme. I should hope they helped out the folks living in the tenements nearby. At least they're trying. Every act of kindness, however small, helps. Can even inspire other benefactors to follow and iterate upon the Army's example. I think I already checked that. Yeah. Okay. Can make quick work of that lock with the right tools, but whatever's behind this door smells bloody terrible. I have more pressing matters to attend to anyway. Alright, well let me check this out. Herring basket. Alright. Not so much. Okay. Alright, palladium time. Palladium time. Actually, wait a second. Home to one of London's most discreet clubs of leisure, as well as an estimately infamous gambling hall, the Palladium's no stranger to the odd successful bunco man, or famous face caught with their hand in the cookie jar who finds himself in need of an abrupt and expeditious flight from London fare. You find yourself among the complement of genteel folk who keep the Rose running, and as ever, you are deeply grateful that your co-workers extend their discretionary skills to you. It wouldn't do to have a sometimes paramour or an errant debtor catch word of your departure. Okay. Come see the sultry songstress, be bamboozled by bawdy ballads and dazzled by delightful dirges, every Friday at the Palladium. It's a good thing I'm leaving. I'm getting too well known in the East End for my tastes. Wait. A wide range of frocks, tails, and greatcoats. Some in better condition, others that seem to never get off the rack. A good representation of the Palladium's clientele. By the saints, there's a pound note inside the bowl. It's desperate times, but I'm not that desperate. All right. We check out Police Gazette. Murder is still at large, and during the recent slaughter at Cannock Street, the body turned up in a back alley, torn to pieces. Who could be behind the bloodshed? Scotland Yard has doubled its forces to catch this killer. As of this day's writing, it claims that only ladies of the night have been targeted. But to be safe, all women are discouraged from being out of doors after sunset. Troubling times. I just hope there's something I can do. An impossibly voluptuous woman clad in a torn, form-hugging nightgown reclines upon something resembling an outsized church pew. From inside her painted mouth, the tips of her canine teeth suggest a lurking danger. Oh my, that must be new. Let's see. A prayer and car. Let's see. A place to rest the eyes when intimate company is scarce, but I bet it boils the blood of anyone tight-laced. Use a bit of blood here and there. All right, Lefty Brone. The inimitable Lefty Brone, gambler, thief, and somehow a class act all at the same time. How have you been? I haven't seen your name in the papers lately. I take it no news is good news, as they say. Aye, so it is, and it's quite the trick to keep it like that. Oh? Every time some bloody fishwife loses her bridal ring, it gets blamed on me, London's premier jewel thief. Which is great for cadging drinks on a Sunday night, but not so great when you're dealing with the law. What do you think about the courtesan killer? I've been sniffing around this courtesan killer case. I have a personal interest, as you can imagine. What do you make of it? Could be either Jimmy or Beast is what I've heard. A tangle with something similar in Prague, you can. I would have been victim number 4 if I wasn't sleeping with an eye open. I owed a very unpleasant fellow a rather large pile of coin, and I was expecting trouble. What happened? This particular scoundrel favored a boning knife for his hobby. I twigged his shadow past the lamp I left cuttering and rolled off the kit before he could slash me open. And you got away. Ach, aye. I skipped out over the balcony 2nd floor. A nae problem for yours truly, but he hadn't a breast to follow. But that encounter was too close to joke about. Was the killer captured? All I can say it has nae by me. I hopped a tramp steamer that very night. Think you'd like to pitch in and help me nab this maniac? If we wait for Scotland Yard, there won't be a Londoner left safe from here to Braxton County. Nay, ta, my dear. The one time was as close as I ever want to get to being mutton. Best of luck, though. Love to see your name in the headlines for that. Worth a try, but Lefty's not known to get mixed up in trouble that she didn't start herself. So you've been laying low? Let's just say I've been dressing up a little mare when I go out. Palladium's quite popular. Doesn't seem smart to show your face around here. Maybe, maybe not, but I've still got to make my living. Any road, I'm about to give up on the Palladium. It's become a haven for tourists and posers. Okay, so tact. Have you had your hand in anything illegitimate lately? 93%. Very easy skill check. Very good. Lefty glances left, then right, then carries on. I may have perused the contents of a certain banker's home safe in St. John's Wood. But keep that yin under wraps, Clara. He doesn't even ken he's been robbed yet. Oh my, that is funny. What about your trade, then? Are you and Beatrice still butting heads over the title of finest dolly mop in all of London? Oh, let's see, protective. I'd hardly call it a contest, least of which when poor Bee's fallen so far behind. Meow. Well, I suppose you still got a few years to catch up. Glad I ran into you, Lefty. Take care of yourself. That's one thing you can always count on, lass. Bye now. All right. Okay, Clementine. Well, my goodness. Clementine, the Minotaur bartender. If it ain't the lovely Miss Reed. You're in early, aren't you, darling? I thought you were singing till this evening. In for a dram? Very funny, Clem. Don't you think it's a tad early? Well, la-di-dum is better than day drinking. Time was you, me, and Penny would drink any of the ales you see here under the table. I've just spent last night in a terribly long morning with one Lord Braxton. You'll forgive me if the headache hasn't quite abated. Wouldn't want to add to it just yet. Now that, my ducky, is more'n fair enough. Ha! Let it be known there are some residents of London that I will dearly miss. Speaking of clients and of headaches, you've a telegram from the Texan here and one from Theodore Redgrave. Sent along to your place of business, though I expect they'll have been sent to the bell jar as well. I swear my eyes are failing with the amount of long-winded messages I receive. Thanks, Clem, but you can bin those. I already read them at the bell jar. Sounds fine. I don't mind tossing something out, especially when it's a misbehaving gin bibber. Okay, I did that. No, not yet. I wonder what happens if I go up and try to... One of my favorite inventions in the modern age. Standing up on the stage, I can communicate the most intimate emotions to 100, even 200 people at a time. Lady Luck towers over the tables, blessing or cursing the gamblers without restraint. Let's take a look at the deity here. Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. In my experience, there aren't many victories to be had in a casino. The Palladium was rather glad to acquire these machines. Far less deception and trickery, although it still happens, of course. This here is Whist, a trick-taking card game with 4 players split into 2 pairs. I wonder if these devices ever stop to consider their situation. Bit bleak to be going through the motions all the time, fueling the addictions of gamblers. Baccarat is played between player and banker. The cards are assigned point values equal to their number, except the face card's worth 0. You'll find the more serious gamblers here, but there are far more reliable ways to earn a few quid. Okay. Impartiality toward players is a dealer's foremost virtue, something bias-free automatons excel at. The game here is Faro, first made popular in France. It's quick-paced and easy to learn and allows any number of players. Okay. Epictetus has inspired some to avoid material pleasures, but nobody close at hand. Ah, yes, Epictetus. This leads to the green room. Nothing I need there until my performance tonight. Okay. Well, that means it's time to go to the Velvet Rose. Yeah, I've done everything I can do. Opening as a public house in 1667, the Palladium and the rose that sits at its crown had the dubious honor of being one of the first new constructions begun after the Great Fire that ravaged London in the Devil's Year of 1666. The workers of the Rose have long claimed that it housed a brothel as well, and despite its occasional forays into social acceptability throughout the centuries, as its deed has changed hands, it will always return to its original state. Regardless of the history, both the building and its workers have been reasonably good to you. A warm and lively air, pleasant conversation, and the wafting smell of bergamot greet you at the door. There's the matter of Ivana to deal with or to ignore, and you'll need to see the madam of the house before tonight's performance. A day's work that is only distinct from its predecessors in that, for good or for ill, it is your last. Scenes from distant lands. I often dream of other places while working at the Rose, but to be reminded of them like this never sat right with me. I don't fucking believe this. Mr. Sykes, I demand you lower your voice while in my establishment. What did B even say to you? A warning, that's fair play, but this... Beatrix is nothing of your concern. You violated house rules with her. Let me talk to B. Mr. Sykes, you are hereby banned from services at the Velvet Rose for a period of 1 month. You may return after the expiration of said ban, and you can receive your partial reimbursement at the front desk. I don't care about the money. This is your last warning, Sykes. You have 10 seconds to leave before I call in my enforcers. Christ, all right. All right, fine. I'm moving, but this is horseshite, you mark me. So that's Madame Zora, huh? No cats, dogs, or other equally excitable animals allowed inside. Might as well be a footnote giving the notice's sheer length. Let it never be said that Madame Zora doesn't run a tight ship. That's a very good question, Div. I was wondering about that myself. The virgin goddess Artemis, twin sister of Apollo, here in repose. Even after all these years, I still don't know her backstory. The player knows her backstory, but... Streaks of fragrant tooth powder cling to the faucet handles. Perhaps left by a client, but more likely a worker. If only the Johns kept up their rituals like we do. Someone discarded a few loose coins here. Let's gather some extra coins. Tucked under the born settee is a pail full of tobacco juice close to spilling over. That's disgusting. Bottle sweating must have been recently served, but then abandoned. Perhaps his patron was struck with a more salacious craving. A grand piano by the German designer Steinweg, shipped all the way from New York City. What's up, Lou? That's Lou. Looks like she's sloshed, which is unfortunately a not infrequent state for her. A vampire witch. Oiled up at this time of day, Lou? Dare I inquire as to the occasion? You know how it is, Clara. Life's nasty, brutish, and short, and then you die, so you might as well make the most of it. True enough, that. Might die sooner rather than later, what with this courtesan killer picking off working girls like us. I won't lie, the notion has me proper afeard. We look after our own. Zora won't let anything happen to us. Oh, I shall do what she can when she isn't being a controlling stick in the mud. Uncharitable but fair. What's your take on this courtesan killer business? I knew one of the girls, I did. Hannah Lind, her name was. She used to work here, but she moved on ages ago. That's right, I remember her. A nice enough sort. Before she was killed, she was still working as a dolly as far as I know, which is more than I can say for all the victims. A working girl like us, even to the bitter end. Hey, Mar. You know how them bobbies are. Anyone sleeping rough or up to her eyeballs in gin was probably up to all else, too. It's all the same to them. Any plans for this evening? Nothing special, but I am looking forward to your performance tonight, Ms. Reed. Oh, stop it. Nothing I haven't done before. Wouldn't be too sure about that. You got a look about you. Can I play it off? 93%? Good. Don't be silly. You're in your cups, darling. Aye, you're right, I'm sure. Must be imagining things. Maybe lay off the bottle a titch, Lou? Clara, I couldn't possibly. Otherwise, how would I tickle the ivories with such a natural ease? Best be on my way. Till tonight, Lou. Till tonight, Clara. Zora's looking for you. She's in her office upstairs. There she is. A rendition of Athena, one of Zeus's many daughters and goddess of wisdom, poetry, and strategy. Yep. This was always the best place for a dolly to get a good look at herself before meeting the customers. I look good. I've still got it, and saints help anyone who says otherwise. 90. Hopeful. A fetching first impression is important. This screen is good for a bit of privacy in a pinch. Scratches dot the desktop. Sometimes we need to reflect after a night's work, or write a letter home. Here's where all the dollies leave each other notes about the Johns. Here it says, Felipe's a Spaniard and a chatterbox who works as a fishmonger at the wharf. He unfortunately comes straight here after work. Ugh. Lou describes a Mr. Sykes as strong but gentle. There's a caution about some character calling himself Sucker Jones. He gets a bit rough at times, and Zora even had him thrown out. But he splashes enough tin around that she let him back in. Sounds like bollocks to me. More about Sykes. Never fusses about payment, treats you more like a sister than a trick, except for the actual transaction, of course. Sykes wins for popularity. It's a wonder the girls don't brawl over who gets him for the night. Wonder what the girls have been saying lately. Let's see. Dr. Wainwright, fussy and specific client. Good time when you get it right. Avoid Mr. Daly when he's in his cups. Sykes, misplaced watch, reward to the dolly that finds it. Haven't seen Suri in some time, perhaps she's seeing someone. If that Frenchman sneaks you brandy, wine, or Sobranis tonight, Lou, I want to cut, else I'll complain to Madame Zora. Felipe, go fetch Ariana if she isn't already tending to him. Riley Jones, polite, kind, pays well, highly recommended. Oh, Teller, sweet fellow, but don't bring up cider with him. That'll make him want to talk unendingly about it. Nigel Poppycock. I know, right? Play it off at the playoffs. Exactly, Echo. Ego bruised easily. Incredibly high maintenance. S. Fisher, easily distracted by poetical recitation of Sappho and similar. P. Nolan came in and asked for the weird stuff but refused to clarify, responding, you know, and winking when asked. Left without services performed. V. Phillips, skittish thing but quite the cuddler. However, kisses like a dead fish, needs work. M. Saba, not into the physical stuff. Still knows how to touch a woman's soul with his wittiness. P. Stark, unconventional taste but very sweet. There's a lot of these. Theodore Firebird, mostly wants to talk about conspiracy theories. Just nod and look impressed. He might give a good tip. There's nothing else on the board. I've wasted enough time here as it is. Ha-ha! Got through it all. Think about that. Get that flask. We always have a flask of laudanum on hands for dollies who have trouble sleeping. Take it with me. Anything in the wardrobe? Clean, functional furniture. Zora may not splurge on pieces for the back of house, but she at least recognizes that keeping her girls happy is good for business. Take a bottle of old lace. Looks to be free of stains. Good. Madame Zora hates it when one of us dozes off with our makeup on. And then I gotta talk to Madame Zora next. Perhaps the client in this room is in fact Dr. Wainwright. Aside from that blindfold, he looks to be dressed like a physician, but I can't confirm without speaking to him directly. That mightn't be worth the risk. I better just mark the window before he catches me in here. I must assume that our client here is Dr. Wainwright, but of course I wouldn't know for sure without speaking to him. Taking too long, I should mark the window and be off. Characters gain the secretive trait and now will be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. Lovely. That'll do nicely. Don't push it. I'm lucky he's tolerating my presence as it is. Okay. Fair enough. Nope, nope. All right, Zora. It's gone cold. Madame Zora didn't finish her morning cup of Earl Grey. Madame Zora. Here is Madame Zora. It appears she was lost in thought, perusing the titles in her small office library. Her grim aesthetic belies a fiercely protective heart. She is shrewd and a strict shiprunner. Clara, at last. A semi-competent face. At current moment, she seems intensely tired. What was that all about down in the lobby? Mr. Sykes? He and Beatrix took certain liberties, and I'm afraid I had to issue him a slap on the wrist. Beatrix is a seasoned courtesan and quite popular among the clientele, but she's been known to skirt the rules when it suits her. Actually, Clara dear, I hoped I might beg your help on that very issue. Oh? Per Mr. Sykes' request, she failed to tie a ribbon round the sheep, I'll make use of a condom, and has requested some pills to balance her menses after last night's encounter, if you take my meaning. Flouting rules again? Still more tolerable than the time she indulged that pushy gent with formicophilia without telling us. To each their own, but Christ above, it was hard to get rid of those ants. Yes, indeed it was. Even Madame Zora looks unnerved at the reminder. All right, I assume the usual place will suffice. Gray's apothecary should have what Beatrix wants. Indeed, here's the chemist's note, and if you're feeling particularly generous, she's also requested a delivery of Nandy's peanut candy. Might see my way to helping out a friend. Thank you so much for the follow on the GOG channel. It isn't your responsibility, but I would be thankful for it. We've quite the evening ahead of us. Popular as our co-worker is, she's a diva through and through, and it might be prudent to ensure she's in high spirits. We'll keep her content for the evening. Perhaps it's worth the detour. Indeed, whatever you choose is fine with me. Oh, and be a dear and pick me up a box of sweets from Pavel Gerard. He'll be at his pinfold in Soros Square. What candies do you mean? Oh, the French ones. I don't remember the name. I acquired quite the sweet tooth when I lived across the channel. Pavel knows what I want, and don't worry about money. I'll pay him when I do my shopping. I lived in Paris for a time. The French have such élan. Whatever the task or chore, they're always smoking a cigarette, and for them everything seems effortless. Did you live in Paris? No. Le Havre and many other stops on the road here from Bruslavia. I was a bit of a wanderer when I was younger, but Le Havre was where I fell in love with the seashore. Despite spending much of my life on the road, there's always more to see. Very well, I'll fetch your candies too if I have time. Now then, you look like you have something on your mind. Anything else you wanted to talk about? Best not make mention of my travel plans. This evening will run smoother if I keep myself in her good graces, and I haven't yet a read on what her reaction might be. What do you think about this courtesan killer business? You have a sharp mind, and you've been in the trade longer than I. Vile business that, though hardly unprecedented. Devana knows there are plenty of animals in this city that try to prey on us now and again. Why leave the bodies in such a state? It places them beyond the pale even by the standards of other such heinous crimes. That it does. Perhaps we speak in error to assume there's any greater motive to these killings at all. Her expression speaks of pain, of anger, of fear for the safety of her girls and the rest of London's underside as well. I can certainly understand. Ms. Reed, may I speak to you in confidence? Confidence, yep, 93% chance. Of course, Madame Zora. I've seen marks like this in my days before I came to London. Brutal killings such as those that now haunt us. Perhaps we are not looking at the work of a person, Ms. Reed, but that of a werewolf. Something in her tone strikes me as off. Perhaps it's nothing more than unsettling memories. She may have cause for her suspicions, but then why the targeting of dollies? Are we inherently vulnerable because we so often deal with strangers? Or might all this paranoia boil down to coincidence? It would be easy to blame werewolves given the state of the bodies, but we must not allow prejudice to inform our actions. As you say, I should get a move on. I'll be back with Beatrix's medication in 2 ticks. See to it you are. Plenty left to do before your performance tonight. And Ms. Reed, I needn't tell you, but all the same, don't let the bobbies stop you once you have the medicine in hand. Wouldn't dream of it, Madame Zora. I turned to make my way, only for Zora to abruptly stop me with a tense hand on my shoulder. Take heed, my dear. Once you have the medicine, come straight here. Legal or not, those pills are more than enough probable cause for the coppers to apprehend a woman such as you. I'll be back soon with that medication for Beatrix. Be sure to take care. Okay, so... let's see. The Last of London. And French candies, which is what I should probably do first. Go to Pavel's Pinfold. Pavel's Pinfold in Source Square. Oh, hello, Beatrix. Before me stands Beatrix Aguirre. Madame Zora tracks her most profitable girl each month, and Beatrix and I are often neck and neck. I've never been one to puff my feathers over how many Johns I tup a month, but there's nothing wrong with some friendly competition. Zora said she would send someone trustworthy to fetch my pills. Going off that sour look on your face, I assume she picked you. Indeed. Someone's got to be reliable around here, I suppose. Right then, fetch away, or did you need a moment of my time? Would you like to hear the latest rumors surrounding you and your shoes? I am a wretched woman for reveling in her furious yet conflicted glare. I haven't heard any rumors. I have. Well, most of us are used to your quirks by now, but it seemed that Prudence isn't. She claims that she witnessed you using the communal bathtub in the usual way, save for still wearing your boots. Prudence is a half-blind half-wit, and I'm lady enough to know it's quite rude to indulge in rumors, but it appears the same cannot be said for you. Oh, it was just a bit of ribbing. She shoots me a terse look while defensively crossing her arms. This conversation is over whether I like it or not. I know Sykes is a bit of a temper, but you were the last person I expected to take it out on. She rolls her eyes while waving her hand with nonchalance. His favoritism doesn't exclude me from his tantrums. Besides, he'll be back tomorrow. Madame Zora's banned him, I'm afraid. Her eyes flutter with sudden realization. Do I detect a hint of remorse? Still, she's composed again in an instant. She gives me a petty glare for witnessing a chink in her armor. You aren't worried about what he said? He seemed quite angry. She lets out a laugh of disbelief. Sykes would never hurt me. Even during a full moon? She places her hands confidently on her hips as if she couldn't be bothered to belabor me with common knowledge. Werewolves only fully transform and lose their faculties round the full moon. It's only at its worst if they become truly enraged. While it's true that lycanism is not transmissible while a person is untransformed, the science behind the process of transformation is still unclear. And Sykes told me I'm the only person in the world who's calmed him down. A lovely sentiment, though I wonder at the truth of it. Why didn't you make sure he was wearing a sheepskin? That's the sort of mistake a kitten would make. I don't recall you being in bed with us. An image I'd rather not entertain, so kindly mind your own business. Fine. Never mind. I'll see you later, darling. Well, that went super well. Oh, yes, I did that already. Okay. So, we gathered that information, so now I have to go to the apothecary, but not quite yet. First, I have to go to Pavel's whatchamacallit. Oh. Okay. Achievement unlocked. Success is a science. You have the conditions, you get the result. I finally completed Chapter 2. Does that mean Chapter 3? Ah, finally Teddy Redgrave. Beat back the terrors of East London as Teddy Redgrave, monster hunter extraordinaire, deciding for yourself what makes a monster in the first place. Okay, let's see. Whether it's a fiendish critter or an idea for a mechanical contraption, Teddy can't help but chase his quarry. But is he truly chasing what lies ahead or fleeing from his past? So we have impulse. Let's see. Your powerhouse, your strength can be both a blessing and a curse. Impulse, ingenuity, analysis. Engineer's sharpest tool. Ingenuity. Blend of observation and imagination. Hardly rob Teddy of his shrewd mind and senses. An inborn sense of structures and systems helps him carefully negotiate delicate tasks. Creativity. Analysis. Ever the engineer, Teddy sees people, places, and happenings like machines. Objects requiring close study to make senses of their intricacies. Analysis, empathy, impulse. And empathy. Unlike Queen and Country, Teddy feels a connection to people, helping him understand and sometimes manipulate those whose paths he crosses. Let's go with that. Let's go with empathy. You are Teddy Redgrave. I am Teddy Redgrave. Monster hunter extraordinaire with a humble 4 walls inside an old clock tower. The furnishings are sparse in your dusty home workshop, with more priority given to machine efficiency than creature comforts. Mechanical odds and ends litter the floor like a second skin that will never get properly buffed. The simple single bed is for dreaming up inspiration, and the grease-laden work table has seen many a project to fruition. The neighborhood itself, Red Lantern Lane, is convenient for its quietude in the evenings, as well as being home to your favorite haunt, the Red Lotus. Oh, that was the guy who kept knocking on the door. That's this guy. The lofted area is no trouble for a dwarf to walk beneath, and the wagon wheel window is a powerful source of daylight. For the tinkerer who's still hard at work in the wee hours, there are tensor lamps positioned about the room, training illumination on whatever invention is at hand. So that's me, huh? Here's the old bucket of brass, my pride and joy. Up and at 'em, Otto. No. Ouch, knew I should have replaced that spark plug. Actually, top of the morning and good day, Mr. Teddy. Where are we off to? By Elvis's hoary beard, we're setting out for a special treat, dear Otto. Really? Well, I'd be more than happy to immortalize it with an ambrotype. If we can get my vision upgraded, that is. Ah, blast, I knew I forgot something. Alright, let's get you benched up. First, I'll need some spare parts. There should be some nearby. Here it is, the cast iron battleground where many a shepherd's pie, oh, I guess that's not me speaking yet, over that bothersome nag, hunger. Hope someday Otto can taste my creations. Brock are willing there'll be a circuit for that. I'll have to invent it myself. Time for a culinary clinic. A cracked but still serviceable looking glass. That's a dwarf in tip-top shape, every grommet accounted for and in working order. But a spick-and-span cove like me needs a loyal sidekick. So I thought, why shouldn't I make my own? Otto's computational cores have improved with every caper. Someday he might even be automaton with autonomy. See what you did there. What a mess. I should think about setting some time aside for tidying things up around here. That's what I get for being so absorbed in my work. Right. If I were a spare part, where'd I be? I think I see something a little more to your right. Got it. Good thing I did such a fine job tuning your optics. Let's get this part to the workbench and get started. One man's treasure is updated. Brass shutter escapement added to inventory. Ah, the good old dusty shelf, where many an engineering solution was sourced. Some of these books are irreplaceable, it's true, from every far-flung engineering society in the world. Perhaps I shouldn't be so stingy about lending them out. 69%, that's a nice skill check right there. Take a closer look at your book collection. Jeez. Not a good start. Blasted eyes of mine aren't what they used to be. I'd easily assess the worth of such books otherwise. Thank you for the follow on my channel. Anything in the pneumatic mail tube? A fascinating contraption, this is one outlet of a system of pressurized tubes which deliver messages more quickly and cheaply than a man afoot. You're jealous you didn't come up with the design yourself. Thought I heard a thunk earlier. Let's see what I've got. Core, looks like another junk missive. Gentle reader, a most alarming situation has arisen. Arsenal Engine's seemingly endless hunger for factory space is now threatening residents of our very own East End. Lord Braxton, Tony Braxton, has set his sights on a block of tenement flats, intending to put poor working families out on the street. Huh. I recall hearing the tenements have been without heat for months, and now this. The season grows colder, dear reader, but hopefully your heart is not. We pray that you will keep an open mind and wallet, and generously support our Christian brethren in these difficult times. Hunter's Writ. Good tidings to you, Redgrave. It's a letter from old Bixby. I recognize his scroll. I have a special job that's come up, the kind with cantankerous old dwarf written all over it. Something's running about upsetting the swampers in the sewers. From what little they're able to say about the blighter, it's not any species I know. Anyway, if it's got those hardheads spooked, it ain't no cane rat. And what if it's just a particularly terrifying cane rat? The sewers is basically one enormous machine, so a gearhead like you should feel right at home. But be careful of the waters down there. Some places you think you'll get muck on your boots, but find you're in over your head. Ha! Yours in bravery, Bixby Browncoat. Ever the Jester. P.S. Did you and Redbeard ever get it sorted which of you is the pirate and which the tinker? Seems like a fair job. Now, where'd I put that key? Ah, here it is, for the warehouse door in Beggar's Lane. That'll take me straight down to the sewers. Better make sure the trouble hasn't already spread. You never know with monsters. Read the eviction notice. Dearest Theodore Redgrave, we at Arsenal Engines are sensitive to the needs of the common man, but we must regretfully inform you of your imminent removal from the property in Red Lantern Lane to further the expansion of our industrial empire. Bugger all. Please be advised you must evacuate the premises no later than January 1st, or you'll be removed forcibly and with prejudice. Ever marching towards a brighter future, Arsenal Engines. Someone's finally picked up Wayloon's clock tower. But this place is perfect for me and Otto. At least it doesn't look urgent, but I should keep an eye peeled for a solution nonetheless. Alright, better get going. Workbench. Let's see, I have an old escapement mechanism, a pair of cogs, and hopefully lots of patience. Yes, this should do nicely. Booger, where? Alright, Otto, come over here. This won't take too long. I was designed to hold still indefinitely, so don't worry about me getting restless. 2 cogs removed from inventory, brass shutter escapement removed from inventory. I've built them well. Pleased to let you know the installation went smoothly. My vision for making images in low light has improved. Gain trait ambrotype module. Music to my ears. That said, we're low on silver nitrate, so let's not make too many exposures until we get some more. Note taken. Anything else you'd like me to keep in mind? Yes, let's keep a sharp lookout for any spare parts while roaming about London. One man's trash is another man's treasure, eh? My programming doesn't include the ability to disagree, so I echo your sentiment by default. I've built him really well. That's funny. Ego, super ego. Other side of this door is the hustle and bustle of London, so take care. I'm on my way. I'm on my way home to the middle of London. Lucky was the day you made a home in Red Lantern Lane, a nexus of exotic vices in London's East End. Not only is there an opium den, but a laundry, a bathhouse. Everything you could need is close at hand. You'll never forget the excitement of finding the old clock tower abandoned and for let. Now it's hard to imagine any other home than this. Of course, the neighborhood has its less salubrious aspects, which the noonday sun rather brutally exposes. Every different kind of vermin and pest seems to congregate here, animal and otherwise. Dockhounds, pimps, burglars, and sneak thieves all make this their nighttime home, not least because the bobbies don't dare to tread here, except for special occasions, a multiple murder, say. But none of this skullduggery and want troubles you in the slightest. If the sight of your mechanical arm and heavy weaponry doesn't dissuade any potential troublemakers, the steely glint of your eye most surely does. Friendly disposition and a steam cloud of dumpling aroma. It's none other than B-A-O-Z-I, being Baozi. She kept running the shop since after Wayland passed, but his grandniece Dolores checks in on her nowadays. She's your type, Otto. For discourse, I mean. Answer pending. Care for some noodles? You doing all right? Not feeling too lonely? I am not feeling lonely because the two of you are in my presence. Intergalactic. We are pleased to hear that our company brings you satisfaction. Poor Beozi. Probably has yet to realize her master is no longer among the living. I've had some of your noodles once. Not bad, but they hardly hold a candle to what I can cook. Right, Otto? I lack the sensorial evidence for making such an assessment, for I cannot consume the delicacies you prepare on the stovetop. That said, I do trust that they are indeed delicacies, Mr. Teddy. All right, Otto, you had your fun, but we've got a living to make. Okay. A tidy row of clothes left behind by customers. What's up, Dolores? Ah, Dolores Chen. Liable to bite my head off as soon as look at me, but she's a good sort. Just like scrubbing stains to find clean clothes underneath. Ah, Teddy Redgrave. Should have known you'd walk in soon as I got done mopping the floor. You and your metal friend leave oil stains everywhere you go. Dolores, you know that machines and I are inseparable. Isn't that right, Otto? That's right, Mr. Teddy. Spare me. Still, I don't want to give the impression that I turn away anyone who isn't clean from top to bottom. Otherwise, I'd be keeping all of London at bay. We promise to tread lightly. Someone smoking opium in here? I'm picking up the scent. Dolores winces and lifts up a well-tailored suit jacket by the lapel, as though it were a tattered mess soaked in excrement. An opium maniac left his rags to salvage. Her scowl suggests a history with use or users. Why, that appears to be a fine suit. You must be mistaken, Ms. Chen. I have a better eye for rags than most. Certainly better than a machine without eyes to start with. Now that you mention it, they do seem ragged. Come along, Otto. Common dressmakers form essential kit for tailors and seamstresses. Vats of lye used to clean clothes, if only there were a way to automate the process. Hung sheets. Much like a good hunter covering his tracks, Dolores' cleanliness might as well be instinctive. Take steady eyes and even steadier hands to make quality clothes out of torn rags. That's very exciting. I learned very little there. A bath before heading into the sewers seems like the wrong order of execution. Oh, I see. I think this path will take me to that canal bordering the slums. Might be polluted, but at least it's access to water. Actually, shoot, what is his 40 weary? So he's got mostly empathy, some analysis, some ingenuity. They're not going to let me go in there? All right. It was worth a shot. Trying to remember where the access to the sewers was. Might be here? I don't remember off the top of my head. That's mostly the same thing as what we heard before. Impressive just how many people are fed each year with grain. A sack of this size accounts for more than 200 loaves of bread. As new as it looks, this is an old design. Oh, I already saw this. Be a simple thing to retrofit for steam power, though. I could do it in a few days without sacrificing the elegance. Unlocked but nothing of value inside. Some people never learn to properly secure their items until one day they're missing a few shingles. Shillings, not shingles. If they're a roof, they'd be missing some shingles. I wonder if he can fix this broken automaton. Poor little Tin Willie, who was powerful once. What a shame. I hate to set a machine fall into disrepair. Automatons are going straight to consumers nowadays. A lot of buyers don't bother to learn about maintenance. Need better information. I agree. If there was a concerted effort to teach people how to care for their automatons, then this one might still be with us. Yes, the compulsory sewer level, exactly. I need to remember how to access that compulsory sewer level, though. I know there's a sewer grate. Actually, wait, maybe it shows... Does it show me where that is? Beggar's Lane. Okay, that's where I have to go. Here's the orphanage, home to many motherless bairns. Can't do much for them, better turn back. Okay, I forgot about the Beggar's Lane thing, so let me go deal with that. Reminds me of the time I fought a horse in Zululand. Poor thing was starving. It was me or him. Mr. Teddy, is that what they call a tall tale? Let's see. No, Otto, I actually fought a horse to the death in Zululand. Precisely, dear Otto. Horses are generally docile creatures. Alright, Beggar's Lane. Well, should January 1st arrive and I do have to vacate the workshop, then I suppose I've found an option. Okay. Beggar's Lane and then sewers. Actually, I think sewers through the warehouse is what they told me. Okay. Warehouse time. You thank your luck that after the war you had enough in the way of employable skills to avoid bedding down anywhere like this. Many find themselves put in that position, but few find a way out. Storefronts' frosted window panes shield the interior from the gaze of passers-by. Hiding the merchandise from would-be shopbreakers, especially important now that Dante hardly opens up. Must be too busy with his new position at Arsenal. Yet Dante's not one to neglect his business. Just how pressing can his work for Silas be? Excellent question. Don't see many of these nowadays, what with steam gurneys tearing up the avenues. The march to progress beats a steady drum, but the simple inventions had to walk before complexities could gallop. Walk before I gallop? Is that what they call a pithy lesson? That's right, Otto, or an adage. Someday you'll write your own. Look at the old socks. Dusty old socks somebody tossed aside. One fair thing about having just the one leg is that my socks last twice as long, and it's hardly a bother if one loses its mate. Okay, that's the missing potion. Or missing poster, rather. Dockhound corpse. Is that Dockhound taking a nap, Mr. Teddy? I'm afraid not. Seems this one's had too many drinks and couldn't handle the load. He's fitted with all sorts of advanced enhancements. I say we loot the old blood bag. You won't be needing that tech anymore. As long as I don't mind picking over a corpse, there's indeed a highly saleable pressure valve in easy reach. Ugh, had to wipe the blood off. Mr. Teddy, is this a part you could integrate with my systems? Aye, Otto, sharp lenses on you. This here's a high-pressure regulator. Henry Ford's doing, I believe. So I might get an upgrade. If it's a good fit, worth trying out back at my workbench. Old leaflet from the Christian Mission. Poor souls. Folks at rock bottom with no other choice. At least someone's looking out for them. Charity's only a stopgap. We need real change from on high. In the meantime, for those who can spare a few shillings, it doesn't hurt to give. 45, content. Okay, I already know about this. So I've already read about that. I think I may go back to the warehouse. I mean, darn it, the warehouse. The workbench. And see if I can actually, if I might be able to do something with his, with Otto. Oh, yeah. Yep, pithy quote, yep. It's a good one. All right, so let's head up. Get him repaired and then, or upgraded, whatever. And then next up, I'm going to go off and check the sewers. Can I install? Also got to make sure I've got a couple of gears on me. This regulator valve is different from Arsenal Engine's usual design. Looks like a prototype, yet sturdier than anything Lord Braxton has devised. All right, try this, Otto. A sturdier actuator piston should make your limbs more capable. Happy to report that it's been properly installed. My ability to lift heavy items is no longer up the spout. Goodness knows he could stand to do more work around here. Okay. Good. Anything else? Great. All right, good. Now we're going back to where we were supposed to go. And it's sewer time. I'm the one person who has the key to get into that place. Ah, seems like our Docktown friend's taking their leave. Good thing I got one of Otto's new components from the body earlier. Yeah, it is a good idea. There we go. I'm going to save this, actually. It's been a little while, so I'm going to save. Okay. I have the key. It's a perfect fit. I love a simple mechanism as much as a complex one. Time for the hunt, Otto. Affirmative. Engaging anti-muck protocols. I'll just set the padlock and chain to the side for now. Saving is caring, exactly. I wonder if that means the other characters will be able to get in there now. At the foot of the stairs, you're greeted by the smell of musty crates. Oil lamps are propped up on barrels against the walls, beating back the shadows in what little way they can. Cane rats scurry through nooks and crevices, ready to defend their territory with teeth as long as knives. You can hear the churning of distant machinery, most likely the pump houses in the sewers further down. A flickering light shines up ahead, which is, of course, the furnace around the corner. Despite the heat and the close, humid air, you feel a bone-deep chill. Nevertheless, you take another step. What else is a hunter for but to quell the creatures lurking in the shadows? Very nice. Chat, by the way, hello, everyone. It is halfway through the stream, so good time to reset. My name is Arvin Elleron. You are watching Pen and Pixels. It's episode 416. This is the show we do here on Tuesdays from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, focusing on story and narrative in games. And I am currently playing Sovereign Syndicate, which is a very cool Disco Elysium adjacent style game, I guess I would say. Very driven by dialogue options, but also by character building and skill building. So very cool game. And if you like it, you can type in !game. I am playing the digital deluxe edition, thanks to the incredible generosity of the folks at GOG. But you can use that if you're interested in this game. Pick it up, and it will not cost you anything extra, but it will send a few extra bucks my way. So please consider doing that if you find this interesting. Okay, wooden coffer, it's a good start. Red cedar paneled and cornered with iron, a sturdy but time-worn container. Rather learn the complexities of machines and wooden boxes. I guess I'm going to need that later, maybe? A round wrought iron lid to keep folks from falling down holes. Nothing of interest here. Yeah, gears and cogs. I shall gather the pieces, because I'm going to need that for him. Beat up crate that smells like an animal crawled inside of it to die. Bugger this, I've got bigger fish to fry, or monsters as it may be. Footsteps down below. I know who that is. The Bilgeman. Oh. Teddy and Otto. No, this guy, I gotta give this guy a Bane voice.
Teddy and Otto. 'Twas the shine of Otto's housing gave you away in this gloom. But what brings you here?
Let's see. Bixby sent me a hunter's writ, said you got some kind of creature running amok in the dark.
Aye, that we do. I was
running amok in the dark.
You were only born to the dark, but I was shaped by it, born to... This loathsome beastie has run me straight off my job.
A hard man like you, difficult to believe.
You know I don't ever spook. Not cane rat nor dockhound bothers me a whit. But this thing has me all afeard it has.
Spending all of one's time underground must numb one to shadows.
Haven't seen it plainly. It always seems to keep to the shadows, but the cries are enough to drive a man to drink. The human cries of its victims. And then you have my permission to die. No, the unhuman cries that follow it.
Inquire how the victims were killed. How are the victims killed?
That's the worst part of it. No one knows. No bodies have been found, but 2 of my colleagues have vanished in the past few days.
Okay. I can hear a quaver in his voice. Poor fellow is terrified. Care to speculate what it might be? Has anyone tried to trap it or take it down? It's not some enormous cane rat, I hope. No challenge in that.
You are a card, Mr. Redgrave. You will face the ultimate penalty. No one I know is brave enough to tackle it, but if I were forced to speculate on its nature, it wouldn't surprise me if a werewolf was responsible.
But the full moon isn't yet upon us. Werewolves only transform on the lunar cycle.
Normally that's true, but there's a lot we don't know about it. Perhaps there are some who can transform at any time.
All right. Do you know where I can find this fearsome creature?
Lurking about the sewers or the pump house, I reckon. Hasn't come as far as the warehouse yet. If it does, I may leave London altogether.
Very well, let the hunt commence.
I wish you all the luck in the world, Teddy. You too, Otto. Be sure and see the pump house captain for a key. That is, if you are sure that you want to go in there.
Task updated, terror in the deep. Oh, I'm chomping at the bit to meet my quarry. Okay. -5 hope +1 black bile. Interesting. I did that already. There's nothing in there, right? Okay, that's what I thought. A brass-banded traveling trunk with sturdy corners. Fit for a long voyage, it's out of place down here. Better leave it be. Never much a looter myself. I'd rather make my capital honestly if I can. That sounds like a job for Clara Reed right there. This boiler uses the flow of rainwater and sewage to generate steam. I wonder if that's the way this is going to be set up, by the way, that I'm going to be using each of these characters to get certain elements out of each map or whatever, and I can't do it alone, so each one of them is going to have their own way of advancing the story. Heating the walls and floors of the Shorelock tenements above. What's this? The boiler's hot, but the fixtures leading through the ceiling are cool to the touch. Another set of shiny new pipes has been rigged up leading in a different direction. The steam is being routed elsewhere. I should look into this. Very fishy. Looks like the steam is being routed downstairs. How about those glistening vats down in the pump house? The pump house has the best control system in our near vicinity. If I were stealing steam, I'd manage the pressure from there. Okay. Identity, HERRA, function, firing the boiler. Stunning piece of craftsmanship. HERA report. Boiler operating within normal parameters. Battery 78%. Addendum, slight pressure loss indicates steam is suboptimally routed elsewhere in the system. Well, aren't you a pretty little thing? New automaton greetings. New automaton identity. Huh. Didn't know there was a punch card for flirting. Come along, Otto. There's work to do. Yeah. Affirmative. Going to the sewers. London's sprawling sewer network is a dark and dank maze of rushing water, choking gases, crumbling brick, and slimy surfaces, all very far from daylight or a friendly face. Deadly shapes lurk in the dark, so keep a close grip on your blunderbuss. Despite, or because of, its dangers, the underground labyrinth seems to attract a lot of traffic from street urchins and criminals who favor it for a rendezvous, hideout, or cache for illicit goods. It feels like you stepped into the deepest reaches of London's underbelly, where the closest thing to the authorities are the sewer workers. A rare breed proletariat who doesn't mind a 12-hour divorce from the daylight. Safety is a concern for the sure-footed workers, not only due to creatures like carnivorous cane rats, but because of the bone-crunching power of the turning wheels of machinery keeping everything on course. Pretty much. I have a sewer section in the first novel, actually my first and third novel in the Grey Assassin trilogy. Greyshade and Heretic both have sewer areas. Ridden with mildew, this looks like a good home for cane rats. Bloody, filthy creatures, but rat baiting can be fun for those who can stomach it. Watching small animals get torn apart by dogs like Tiny the Wonder. 200 rats in a single hour. Not my choice for an evening out. There's the pump house captain. See if I can get to that rotten wood. Can I? Can I get to the rotten wood? Ridden with mildew. This looks like a good home for... Oh, I already went. Man, I already did that. Hold on a second, chat. I'll be right back with you. Just give me a sec. Bear with me. One more sec, chat. I'll be right back with you. One more second. Okay, sorry about that, chat. Apologies. Hey, what's up, Hillness? Couldn't have asked for a better sewer. It's very true. Sorry, folks. Just some family stuff I had to quickly deal with. My apologies. Okay. Oh, all right. So the last guy was Bane. So this is like...
Oh, who goes there? Oh, Mr. Redgrave, aren't you a sight for sore eye?
How goes the patrol, Captain?
As you can see for yourself, it don't. 2 of our engineers have gone missing. Missing down here, I mean, out on a bender. And I very much doubt they're coming back.
You're having trouble hearing out of your right ear. Oh, no, Hellness. Why? Do you know why? You have any idea? That sucks, dude. Someone's going to answer for this unchecked brutality.
I've had to lock the pump house down. No one in or out for 3 days. Our luck has held so far, but if one of the machines in there should malfunction...
All right. Sinus issue. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, dude. If you're certain the creature is in the pump house, me and Otto need to get in there post-haste.
Right, naturally. Here, you'll need this key. Godspeed, Mr. Redgrave.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's the worst. I've had a situation, I think this was flying maybe from Chicago to Seattle or something. I had one thing where I had that one. Thank you for the raid, Darksaber, with 31 raiders joining us here for Sovereign Syndicate. Thank you, Saber. Thank you, my friend. Hope all is well. Good to see all of the folks from Darksaber's stream. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. So yeah, Hellness, I remember landing and like as a relatively fast flight, and man, I had like a little bit of a cold, and I felt like I had an ice spike driven through my head. It was so painful, like oh, it was so bad. Welcome, Raiders. Hello, Catpig. Hello, Bolland. Hello, Darksaber. Hello, everyone who said raid. I think I saw Imaginary Exponent in there. Everybody, good to see you. Darksaber, of course, member in good standing of our Talisman Adventures and our D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign. Maybe more to talk about regarding those campaigns, or at least that group, in the not-too-distant future, he said mysteriously, but I can't talk about it quite yet. But Saber, of course, also an awesome, amazing streamer on this channel, as you all should know, and you should be following him already if you're not. Welcome, Gaia Shield. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all, folks. Welcome to Sovereign Syndicate. We are in the obligatory sewer level, of course, and we are in the third chapter playing the third character, a guy named Teddy Redgrave, who is a very much a Saber. This will be after your own heart. A dwarf, essentially a dwarf artificer, basically, who has had to replace several limbs with like mechanical items, and has a automaton sidekick known as Otto, who he's already upgraded once. That's Teddy Redgrave, as you can see. All right, find out where the flow of steam is being redirected. You've been playing and engineered. Exactly, Geister. That was what we were talking about. Mandatory. Yeah, no, not so good, Hellness. And that happened to me when I was in my like early 30s, so it's painful whenever it is. Also, just to note, 69 viewers in chat, so obligatory nice comment. You've been playing an engineer. I actually lurked and watched you playing a little bit of that. Is like that cannon blasting. Your freaking double. You look like a combination of like Ghost Rider and like some pirate from AC4, like some kind of Black Flag Ghost Rider combo is what it looks like. Okay. The humble liquor locker, quite common in places where long shifts are the norm. A pool of blood, an amount of blood one would typically only see in a war zone. That's a lot of blood. Unless the victim was a horse, they can't have survived. Christ, reminds me of things I saw in the G Company. A broad array of levers and switches meant to control the water flow, no doubt. Pressure's normal, water level normal, nothing untoward. This switch cuts the inflow for maintenance. Could be useful if I need to poke around in the muck down there. Let me flip that switch. You have gloves that make me sometimes shoot a mysterious third pistol while dual wielding. Really? Just mysteriously? What's up, Quadrillion? Well, it's very appropriate. So you're watching right now. You watched Saber beating the hell out of people with Grim Dawn. Welcome to the sort of dialogue-driven version of that. Okay, that's basically what this is. We got a bunch of things going on. There is this killer wandering the streets of London. We have this Minotaur guy who I've actually played the least. He was the one I played at the beginning, but not for very long. We have a courtesan who's trying to escape London but needs to get some money and also needs to attract some information, etc., etc. And then you got your boy Teddy Redgrave here, who's trying to figure out what's going on down here in the sewers. This device lowers the water level, and the water has already been drained, hasn't it? This is useless to me now. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then. Okay, the entrance to the pump house. A hefty iron door, currently locked. Okay, I want to go over there, but I want to just double check and make sure that nothing got opened up when I just lowered the water level. Probably it's fine. Like, there's nothing else extra here, I'm guessing. The hell? Okay, good. The game is not perfectly well... Aha, I'm glad I checked here. Not perfectly well optimized, but... A dead body soaked in sewage. His uniform marks this unfortunate fellow as a sewer worker. It's been ripped just about ragged. As for his bootlace, it got snagged on a hobnail and he's stuck there. I thought I knew what stink was, but now I need to reevaluate. Okay, so now we have an analysis. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this game before, the way this works is you have these things that are sort of vaguely based on tarot cards. Very vaguely. Hang on one second. And different skills and abilities make these easier or less easy. Analysis is one of his stronger traits. So I have a 69% chance of getting this right, but I've already been XCOM'd once or twice in this game, like this session alone, so who knows if this will work, but success. Okay. Claw marks and big ones. Bear would be my first guess if we had bears in England, but whatever did this is of comparable size and temperament. Best tread lightly. There's also all this discussion of werewolves, which almost seems too easy to me, like that it's just because it's so clearly obvious that that's what we're talking about, but we'll see. Also, we have a hideout here. Some unfortunate soul's been squatting down here in the dark and damp. Grim. All right, so we have that. That is very interesting. I think I've already checked this multiple times, so there's probably not going to be anything else, but I want to be just 100% sure. I have not missed on a 99% chance to hit. I think the worst that I've gotten so far is that one that we just saw. I think I did miss a 69% chance, which isn't horrific. Like, that's, I can see that. It's the 99%, like you say. It's the whole, like... Fallout, I'm right next to the dude, I'm a specialist in sharpshooting, but somehow I miss when I shoot him. That's the one that I'm like, yeah, sounds like a Shaggy Dog story to me. I assume you were playing Grim Dawn today, yeah, Saber? Let's go. An engineering feat of intimidating scope and cacophonous noise, the pump house is the mechanical heart of the East End sewers. In the greasy gloom, the layman is likely to meet their end in a dozen unpleasant ways. Among the shiny vats, thundering pistons, and enormous gears, there's a heavy outflow of steam from the many boilers. Be wary of tampering with the machinery as you creep through the shadows. You just might get snarled by some lurking monster or blown away by a high-pressure explosion you hadn't planned for. Take extra care with this dynamic machinery. Any misstep could lead to eternal rest. Sure was. Nice. Nice. I gotta play... I played a decent amount of Grim Dawn back in the day, and then I stopped. And I don't remember exactly why. I kind of have a limited shelf life with ARPGs, but I also like some of them. I have been occupied quite a bit. I know this is not GOG specific, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is freaking amazing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, as if Remake wasn't good enough. Like, Rebirth has been incredible. Ugh. Okay, I smell a monster. Analysis or ingenuity? Remind me what my skill is? Analysis, yeah, that's what I thought. Otto will need to act fast. Place a trap at each of the side doors. I'll have to watch my back as well in case the monster wants to creep in from behind. Task initiated. Good, and I'll head for the upper catwalk in order to have a vantage point. Oh, it's Otto. The odds of this arm coming back to life are next to nil. There's something odd about this boiler's configuration, but I can't put my articulating digit on it. Maybe Mr. Teddy should have a look. Alright, so we got trap points. Am I gonna have to, like... A strategically sound location for a leg hold trap. Arming trap, choke point secure. Yeah, I just realized that I didn't understand what I was doing. Alright, do this. Set up the trap. 2 traps should be enough. I should step onto that raised platform and keep my lenses peeled for that monster. Hold on a second. Okay. Waiting for a monster. And now we wait for the traps to do their part. Have I got you to thank for this? Ouch, the trap I set is firmly affixed to his leg. Gratitude is unnecessary in this case. I am Otto. What may I call you? Call me Sucker Jones. That's my name, and I want you to know it before you die. I have never considered that the state of non-entity common to all organic creatures might be applied to myself. This particular organic creature is furious with me. Perhaps a distraction is in order. You seem to be suffering multiple symptoms of a very unusual condition. What happened to you? I've been using a special serum, supposed to fix the infection I got from this puncher, augmentation installed in me arm. My boss, Miss Molly, sent me down to the pump house to do a wee job, but something's gone wrong with the drugs. I've been out of me mind. This half-human entity must be suffering greatly, both physically and mentally. I keep blacking out, and I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Every time I come to my senses, I start looking for a way out, but I can't even do that right. That sounds very unpleasant and confusing. Maybe Mr. Teddy can help you. Oh, yeah? Whoever that is better act fast. The way this infection's spreading, I'm not long for this world. He was just here. I'm sure he'll be back soon. Usually he's not the type to keep someone waiting. Ha! Well, in the meantime, I'd be happy to dispatch a Tin Willie with his head too full of steam. Combat time. I wonder if I should be perhaps more of a distance from Mr. Jones. Somewhere up above us, Teddy takes careful aim. The blast from the blunderbuss is quite loud, and the force of it temporarily knocks Mr. Jones from his feet. When he regains his balance, Mr. Jones stares at the stump where his mechanically augmented arm used to be. Ah, bloody hell, Governor. Hear me out, please. I'm getting a raw deal. Teddy leaps down from the catwalk. Oh, damn! Teddy! Freaking epic collapse! Looks like it was a giant cane rat after all, and I'm the rat catcher. It appears I'm safe for the time being. Teddy's plan worked perfectly. He's hurt badly, but we're not in the clear just yet. Let me offer him a way out. 88%? Success. Give yourself up and maybe something can be done for you. Resist and it only makes my job easier. Appreciate that, Governor, truly. But the only thing what can be done for me now is a mercy killing and quick like. God, no, I can feel the hurts coming on again. Please, sir, end it for me. We'll have to do away with him. And if I aim well enough, you won't feel a thing. The Hierophant has gained the Meticulous trait, will now be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. That's good. Pity it had to end this way, but there's no way I'm carting this fiend back to Bixby. Auto-activate the Ambra-type module. By your command. Shame to see what used to be a decent man so overcome. But no sense in dawdling. Make the exposure, Otto. So this character has gained the Brutal trait, will now be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. Okay. Not to worry, I'll handle it, Mr. Teddy. We should have the exposure by the time we meet with Bixby. Isn't that right, dear Otto? Bill Bixby? Chemical development as quick as I can muster, but I'm low on silver nitrate. Thanks for the update, old buddy. We'll get you some more from Nandy just as soon as we can manage. Mechanical arm. The design of Sucker's arm is remarkable, significantly different from my own devices and unlike anything I've seen before. This is not typical of the Dockhound's prosthetics at all. The torque and range of motion have obviously improved. The alloy isn't familiar either. How did a gangster like Molly get a hold of advanced technology like this? And to think it's being squandered on a common thug like Sucker Jones. This tech could potentially solve the chronic issues with my own augmentations. For example, the extreme and ongoing discomfort of regular use. Definitely bears more investigation. I'll take it with me, I suppose. I'm trying not to use the full Scottish accent, except when he's talking out loud. I should speak to Molly about this when I get the chance, and Dante might know something about its provenance as well. But first I'd like to have a little look-see myself back at the workshop. Okay. For a one-eyed cove, the pump house captain has a knack for dials and gauges. When in working order, this system functions almost autonomously. Captain should only need to pop in and check it now and again. Good thing this platform held up during that hullabaloo. My implants aren't exactly built for swimming, let alone climbing. A sophisticated distillery operation with ample steam pressure to keep things rolling. This has to be the destination for that steam I saw being rerouted upstairs. Molly's behind this, has to be. She seems to have left a firm impression on the underground. She and her dockhounds are stealing steam meant for the tenements overhead to power this gin distillery. But what can I do about it? The dwarf could do some damage here if he had the right tools, in this case an adjustable steam-powered long wrench. I could do something about that. Let's see if Dante has the tool that I need. Okay, so we gotta go back to the workshop and then go see Dante. That's the plan. Workshop and then Dante. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything over here. Okay. Okay. We claim the bounty. Let me talk to the pump house captain first of all. Get the bounty, workshop, and then Dante. Okay, let's see. Content or better.
Mr. Redgrave, thank the Lord you remain among the living and in one piece. How did the hunting go?
Happily overall, but I had to put the poor thing out of its misery. Target has been subdued. You and your co-workers may safely return to the pump house. So these are the cards that you have access to now.
Finally, I can get some shut-eye without any nightmares of that monster. You did everyone down here a mighty favor.
We are now on our way to get payment for our services.
I should hope you're paid well enough to bring you back the next time. The sewers are so often beset by deadly creatures. I'd say I hope to see you soon, but if I'm honest, I don't.
Okay, workshop. Who do I get this thing from? Bixby at the bathhouse. Okay. So, Bixby at the bathhouse. Actually, no. Workshop, Bixby at the bathhouse, Dante. That's how we do this. Thank you for the follow on my channel, Mabias Gaming. Okay. Not to worry, Trunk. Someday the right person will come along. I think I've already done that. Okay, I've already done this. So. Okay.
This isn't what it looks like. I'm just making sure nobody came in to interfere while you were below.
Easy now. Everyone deserves a tipple once in a while.
It steadies my nerves, and its sleep smells a bit sweeter than my profession. Care for a drop?
I hardly touch the stuff. Better to keep your wits about you. Never know what might be hiding around the next shadowy corner.
Sure as sight. So then, is it done? Do you have my permission to die? Did you find the monster?
The corpse is colder than hell's bedchamber. You might want to get someone down there to clean up, though.
I see. Well, better to clean up some monster blood than another dead bilgeman. I'll be seeing you, Monster Hunter.
Ooh, empathy. Ask for a reward. 87% chance, let's go. Yeah. Can I have a reward, bud? Don't suppose I'd get a little something for my troubles.
Well, you did put yourself in harm's way and came away unscathed. I guess I can offer you this for a job well done. Take care.
Yeah, 3 cogs. Let's go. All right, workshop time. Workshop, living in the city. Could go to Dante's shop, but I really want to do things in the order that they told me because I want to make sure I check this out first. So, I go here, check out the stuff, check out the mechanical arm at my workshop, then I go pick up the bounty, then I go talk to Dante. Okay, first this. No mail. Great. All right, what do we got? Study what's left of Sucker Jones. Ingenuity. 67% chance. That's testing its strength. Analysis. What's it made of? 87%. Or it could reconfigure it. Let me check it out first. Successful. What's it made of? Some of the smaller components are good old-fashioned steel, but the composition of the main structure is unfamiliar. Since the last time the guy used this, he ended up going nuts. Before I put it on myself, I'd like to actually know what the hell is going on with it. Composition of the main structure is unfamiliar. I believe steel is still the base, but the alloy or alloys are a mystery. Could it be that someone's found a way to create a Could it be that someone's found a way to create a titanium alloy? I've heard rumors it's in the works. Let me reconfigure it to use myself. Yeah, success. Ridiculous. It's much too large for my frame, and there's some very fine machinery in the socket where it meets the stump. With all the gore from Sucker's demise, it's hard to be sure, but I believe this augmentation was actually embedded in his flesh. That's certainly new. 3 successes. Nice. I'll test its strength. It only takes a bit of work to hook it up to my steam line and apply some power. Grip strength is impressive, close to 1100 newtons, much stronger than my own. Wrist and elbow joints are correspondingly powerful. That's enough fiddling for now. Perhaps I can get some more insight from Dante. Otto, take a picture of this arm so we can show it to Dante. Okay. Done. Right. Okay, so we did what we need to do there. Oh, wait. No. Let me check one thing. Don't have any of these things yet. Okay, so we're going to go to Dante. But first, before we go to Dante, we are going to hit up, we're going to get our bounty, which hopefully is something for, what's his face? For Otto. That's what I'm hoping. Okay. Okay. Let's go in here. Claiming the bounty. Ten hope. All right, Otto, help me in while I take my leg off. We can get you all cleaned up later. Okay, Dante. How goes it, Teddy? Oh, I think I met this dude. Okay, so I know this dude from with Clara Reed as well. Here for business or pleasure? You know us, Dante. It's always a bit of both. True enough, Otto. So tell me, Teddy, what's on your mind? Let's see. Otto, show him the picture you took of Sucker's arm. Understood. What the... That bloody thing's massive. Did you swipe it from one of the cargo loaders at the wharf? Believe it or not, one of Molly's dockhounds was using that gadget to shake down old ladies and reach things from high shelves. But this is no joke. Take a closer look at it. It's fine workmanship, that much is plain. Where'd it come from? Is it one of Arsenal's? I have to say it must be. No one else is working on prosthetic technology this advanced, at least not in this country. But access to the experimental branch of augmentations is highly restricted, and I don't have it. But can you snoop around at all? Find anything out on the sly? Bluntly, no. The boss is very cautious, even paranoid about espionage. If I got caught wandering around the wrong sector, I'd like as not get sacked on the spot. How do you suppose Molly O'Malley came to possess it? Can't really speak to that, though my employer doesn't scruple to work with the common folk when it comes to field testing. Though we might reconsider that approach, seeing as how this wonder just fell into your hands. How did you come by it anyway? In the course of a contract. Don't worry about the former owner, he doesn't need it anymore. So who did you murder, and did they have any vengeful relatives or acquaintances? No one of consequence, and it wasn't murder. It was as much a mercy as putting down a rabid dog. Anyway, you know what my job entails. One thing to know about the hunting trade, another to partake in it. All right, I'll have to ask around elsewhere. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for Bixby. It's about a contract. He was here this morning. Should be back any time. What do you need Bixby for? Another monster bounty? Aye, but the last job was a bloody mess. Captured my quarry down sewer in the pump house. A leg old trap made it easy enough, but the bloke had been subject to an awful procedure, and he mutated into something so sickening I'm afraid I can't describe it. Any idea what was behind it? Not a new kind of infection, I hope. Can't say for sure, but I shudder to think what could happen if the affliction were catching. Whatever it was, the fellow's better off dead. What horrors. I prefer to stick with machines. They're at least somewhat more predictable. For me, it was just the day's work, nothing more. Indeed. Speaking of work, I've been enjoying my time at Arsenal Engines thus far. My boss bears great ambitions for manufacturing even more advanced kinds of finished mechanisms and mechanical parts. I'm happy for you. Don't be surprised if I come to you for a discount. Come find me down at the wharf and I'll introduce you to my new employer. There's something special I've been working on as well. What do you think about that, Otto? Fancy an upgrade? Currently functioning at 100%. Efficiency, optimal. Not what one would call brilliant conversation. Not yet. It's been years since I designed his speech processor, and I've never had time to improve it. I'm not surprised to hear that. Swapping out punch cards for every new set of instructions is a nightmare, but this product we've been developing does wonders in that regard. Sounds like it'll be worth the trip. Can't say that for sure I'll have the time. I never know when another writ could arrive. Really, Redgrave, I'd consider it a personal favor. Tell me you can make it. I should make time for Dante even if it's inconvenient. Brilliant inventor friends are hard to come by. Suppose I have no choice. Excellent, then I'll see you at the wharf. There you are, Mr. Redgrave. And Dante, you look well. Good to see you, Mr. Browncoat. But as it happens, I was on my way out. God damn it. I wanted you to talk about augmentations. Catch up with you gentlemen later. Take care now, Dante. A busy man keeps his head above water. Now then, Mr. Redgrave, I trust my little assignment went smoothly. Strictly routine, old chap. Here, take a look at this plate that Otto made. Hideous! I've never seen anything like it, and for that I'm grateful. Sweat beading his brow, he looks more ill at ease than I've ever seen him. A gory job, that, but well done. Here's for your efforts. Much obliged, Bixby. I'd offer you a bonus if I were the boss, but of course I'm only the broker. The thrill of the hunt is payment enough for me. Well, that in the tin, I mean. We must have a drink to celebrate this success before you rush off to the next. First shouts on me. All right, chapter 3 complete, I think. Yep, all women become like their mother. That's their tragedy. No man does, and that's his. All right, chapter 4, we're back to Atticus Daly. Having been roughly roused from drunken oblivion in Beggar's Lane, a masked stranger compelled you to pay a visit to the Red Lotus. There he revealed that your mother Matilda may still be alive. You've reached a new bottom, but perhaps this is the motivation you need to start climbing back up. Daylight streams through the window in your garret. You must have slept a long time. Woken from the tremors of a terrible gin hangover, you remember that the masked stranger gave you an ultimatum last night. Recall a few childhood memories or take a deadly dose so that he could collect the bounty on your head. You sailed back to the Sacred Heart Orphanage on an opium dream, but the images swim away from you now in the sleepy dawn. Today you must return to the orphanage and see if your mother's name is still on file. If it is, then you have a chance to save her from the mental institution where she's apparently being held. Your hovel is dim-lit even at daybreak. The morning light is pale, suffusing the room with a bluish haze. He is not in great shape, this guy. She's so poetic in the morning. It's rather peaceful. Just shut my eyes for a moment longer. That's enough. I had a late night, but I've got to get going. 30, weary. It's going to take a while to get myself up to like halfway normal. What's this in my pocket? A bank draft for 40 shillings. Stranger must have handed it over when he brought me home from the Red Lotus. And there's something else as well. Now I have the humility trait, so I can select dialogue options with that. The Magician Tarot card must be one of the stranger's mysterious gestures, for I'm not sure it has any tangible function. Having it with me, though, I do feel a newfound sense of humility. Any road, the bank draft might come in handy. But it's just a bit of paper, it's not liquid capital. I couldn't spend it down at the Palladium. But a more formal establishment would accept the bank draft. Clearly the stranger has something in mind that I haven't grasped. Speaking of bits of paper, what was it I saw in that dream? 88%. Alright, I can recall. Black Bile. Heloise handed me a note in my mother's script. On the off chance that it's still in the records at the Sacred Heart, I better find it. Okay. Ah, note from Aunt Selina. She must have left it while I was out. It reads, "Don't delude yourself into thinking I forgot about your rent. If you don't want me to come knocking, then you better pay up soon. That woman won't quit nagging me." Old Crone. "Atticus, Aunt Selina's been a fair landlady. You don't want to get thrown out on the street, do you?" That crone won't quit either. I better take care of my outstanding rent to Aunt Selina. It's not all that much tin, and a roof over my head is a necessity. I'll get the money somehow. Missing orphans. Let's do that. Stuffed with straw and covered with muslin. Does a fair job as long as I'm bone tired. I'm not going to sleep yet. The inside of this... Oh. Ale de Boeuf? I think. Ale de Boeuf is dusty, and the outside is patinated with smoke from the factories, but the glazing bars are well made, and the double panes keep out the frost. How about flicking the snib? Could use some fresh air. +5 hope. In the distance is the docklands, where the boil and bluster of steam power reigns supreme. The hammer and nail of burgeoning industry and the bleeding cry of air horns on the steam freighters at the wharf. Deliverance from something, but what exactly? I think animal instinct is lower. Yeah, wit is one of my higher ones. So, deliverance from the humdrum repetition of routine. Progress is progress, no matter the form it takes. Ah, my wit has increased? Any road, it was nice to have a moment to myself. And now I'm still 40. Still weary. We're making progress, chat. Dust rises up in a beam of daylight, reminding you how reliably unclean your desk is. Me and my tendency to neglect things. Here, here. There's desiccated vellum, dried up reservoir pens, and a few glass jars. Imitation vellum, I hope. The real stuff is made from calf skin, my poor brothers. Anyway, there's nothing mind-altering in the desk. I must have cleaned out my reserves. Nothing to raise a hair, not with my tolerance. But there's something small here at the back of the drawer. Your mother's ring, the only heirloom you ever had. A silver band with a small sapphire. It was folded in your blankets when you arrived at the orphanage. Instead of pawning the ring to cover my costs, Eloise let me decide what to do with it. She gave me this when I came of age. I remember we were sitting in the courtyard. I saved it all these years, never knowing what to do with it. Well, obviously I'm going to take it. I may need that if I'm going to the orphanage. What's this god-awful thing again? Good place for your garments, dear fellow. Respectable cove must be able to dress for any occasion. Stilted way of speaking, this one. I'm an antique. Why is this wardrobe talking to me? This wardrobe has seen many sots come and go, and so many hearts spilled on pages by starving poets, that it must have soaked up those emotions and developed some of its own. I'd like to believe that, otherwise it's yet another voice in my head. The wood paneling shakes as I open the sticky door. Careful, Anselina will charge me. How could I forget? My landlady has the eyes of a hawk. Inside the wardrobe is a wasteland of dust and spiders. Some time ago, my racks were replete with the finest silks, satins, and linens, bespoke waistcoats and pantalettes softer than lambskin. Do I sense bitterness from this wardrobe? The wardrobe is upset, and it's no small wonder. I sold all my outfits to pay for the last bender. But I don't remember, and that's the bloody point of a bender, isn't it? Anyhow, I picked up a nostrum to detoxify. Right, I've got a bone to pick with that peddler. Nothing but salinated water and snake oil. I ended up needing an emergency dose from Bixby. Babbling to yourself again? Well, I wish you'd fix the cracks in my fastenings. It's rather drafty. Only other thing to do here is cast my illusion. Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell from the air, and taste from the water. Touch down to the earth in another form. Bully! Still haven't lost my edge. Alright, now I don't look like a minotaur anymore. Right then, lovely smell of books and all that, but don't you have any other interests aside from magical lore? How about a novel? Stories? No thanks, I tend to get lost in them. The Minotaur and Me, Travels with Beastie, Greatest Magicians, Illusions for Thickos, Spellcasting 101, The Minotaur's Assistant, All You Ever Needed to Know About Magic, Painless Potions and Helpful Hexes, Perilous Potions and Harmful Hexes, Ritual World History, Panic and Peril, The Politics of Human and Beastly Relations, Ectoplasm Factor Fiction, and the classic chat, Spiritual Prophets, How to Train Your Pixie. Absolute classic. All right. I've already been here before. A weather-beaten receptacle for disposing of refuse. Should I like to reduce the general fifth of the East End, I can rid myself of any unwanted items here. Gin isn't good for me. Disposing of it would only do me some good. Better not hang on to my old devices. +5 hope. Yeah. I'm content now. We've made progress, chat. The watch faces are of copper, nickel, and whalebone with bands of brass, lynx, snakeskin, and minotaur leather. Take a closer look at the case. That's 80%. Success. Good, good. The brand is Spoonbacher. Why does that name sound familiar? Ah, yes. Spoonbacher of Graz, Austria. This line of automated vendors was quite the fad on the continent when I was a young buck, though I've only ever seen one other like it in London. I remember looking at the case and wanting one for myself. At the time, I never had the tin for something so fancy. I was on a bit of a bender that night, and I decided to smash it in, but I couldn't find a brick or a plank or anything else, so I used my fist. Smarted like hell, but I came away with over a dozen of them. What a haul. The engineer I sold them to told me this Spoonbacher chap started out as a watchmaker, but he didn't have the capital to get into the guild. He began making these machines instead, and soon enough every watchmaker in the country wanted one. He died a millionaire. Above the ordering panel is a kinetic tableau, which is a mechanical array of wooden squares with toothed spools behind it. Operation cards run through the machine, defining which teeth flip over which wooden squares and in what sequence, thereby displaying words or images. I wonder if that's a true thing. I wonder if kinetic tableau is actually a thing, like in real life or not. I have never heard of that. The default message says welcome by way of rotating wooden squares behind a protective sheet of glass. I suppose there are more feckless uses of one's money than on a proper timepiece. Buy a watch, madam, sir, watch, madam. Sounds like it's in a bad way. Well, the whalebone and minotaur leather watch seems a little ridiculous. Nickel and snakeskin, we're looking at straight copper and brass. 500 pounds? 500? I'm going to need to reprogram it because that's clearly not right. An uncommonly handsome specimen of Homo sapiens gazes up from the perfectly still water. Now I'm content or better. How did I ever let things slide for so long? I can get back to the straight and narrow. I must get back. I was quite adept at street performing back in the day, much preferable to low-level thuggery. I have to concentrate on one thing at a time, and my priority now is to settle things at the orphanage. After that, we'll see. Let me just check this quickly. Burnt tallow in the air and a wash tub in the rubble. Perhaps it was a laundry and they forgot to pay Molly her protection money last month. That's what actually, that's what what's-her-face, that's what Clara said. No, this looks to be just a house, but this room may have been the washroom. Even if there was anything salvageable in the rubble, it would take a team of oxen to lift this crossbeam. I'm bloody strong, but not that strong. Okay, let's go into the curio shop. Alright, I visited her already with Clara Reed. Yep, I've already seen these instruments. There's not a musical bone in this body. Towering coffin of cast iron and spikes, threatening pain and agony one could never forget. This godforsaken thing gives me chills. It's beautiful. Can you guess what it was used for? Medieval torture, unless it's a trick question. So here is a bloody hoax. It was never used for torture. It was invented in this century. Some clever contractor went around with his prototype trying to get a manufactory to make it. When the House of Lords caught wind of the idea, they made sure all of Britain was turning them out in order to make the present day seem less violent than the past. Good to know, but I still can't imagine who would ever buy it. Little slice of history waiting for the right customer to come along. Come to think of it, there are twisted minds in the East End. Somebody will take it off Aunt Selina's hands. This is one of the Romani's covered wagons. Aunt Selina roamed the Black Isles with this, or the British Isles with this. Silver-haired woman bores holes in me with her eyes. Have I done something to upset her? I can't recall. Psh. You and that cheap illusion. Don't think you can hide from me, Atticus. Well, so much for fooling her. All jesting aside, have you come with the coin you owe me for the monthly rent? Another month already gone? You spent the better half of last month asleep in the gutter. It's no wonder you don't notice the passage of time. Sorry, but I need a bit more time. I've heard that one before. Now quit loitering at the counter. You know, I myself happened upon many different oddities while gadding about London. Perhaps you could work out some kind of trade. I don't think so. Whatever I sell in this shop, I come by honestly, more or less. Alright, let's see. 57% likely skill chance. This is just about 50-50. In that case, I apologize. The payment of my rent has been unavoidably delayed, but I put a plan in motion. I had a lot of successes. I was kind of owed that one. Enough. If I had a farthing for every one of your excuses, I'd have retired long ago. If you come around here once more without it, I'm liable to charge a pretty penny in interest. Now, off with you. Sorry. A wooden crate engraved with the insignia of a strange instrument. Ah, you weren't supposed to find that. No matter, I doubt you'll be interested. Why is that? Because I don't know what's inside. You'll have to buy it to find out. Only 5 shillings. I'm going to give her 5 shillings. She's going to be like, wait, what about my rent? I got an achievement. Purchase a loot box. +5 hope. Pleasure doing business. What does this loot box do? A box full of cosmetic doodads. Useless. Okay. But I'm still sitting at content, so I have made some serious progress on my demeanor. I was weary when I woke up, but now I am content. I am moving into the happy stage of Minotaurdom. Loot boxes on GOG. Oh no, Cat Pig! Lego just dropped the D&D set. What is the D&D set? Where am I going? Sorry, I need to see what... right. That's Missing Orphans. So I have to go to the orphanage. Also, can I get into the warehouse? I bet I could. Let me see if I can get to the warehouse now that it's open. One man's a hunter, the other an elegant man of intellect. It's got a dungeon and a dragon and a beholder. Oh my god, nice. I'm going to go in that warehouse in just a minute. You need something, or you're just intruding on Paco Melendez's personal space for nothing? I take it you're Paco, then. Everybody knows Paco Melendez, name of Mali's best bruiser. What do you want? Everyone knows Paco. It's a little surprising that I've never heard of Paco. What did you say? See you nearby? Oh, I get it. You're just stupid. You see that poster just there? Aye, what of it, bullbrain? Know anything about those missing children? I don't like what you're implying, Lobcock. You got 7 seconds to leave before I do something about it. Why 7 seconds? Wouldn't even be a fair fight. This one has far more bark than bite, despite appearances. Really? I think I made myself clear, Bovine. You only got 8 seconds now. Did he just add a second? Maths would not appear to be Marco's bailiwicks. Goodbye then, Paco Melendez. Yeah, you better leave. Alright, I'm going to try to go into the warehouse. Oh, wait, is it padlocked again? I thought it was going to be open. Break it? Damn it. Ah, -5. Oh. I lost -5 hope. Okay, because there's things down here that I could check out. Which should be now stuff that Teddy wasn't interested in. But he might be, like wooden coffer. Oh, really? So only Clara wants this stuff? Oh, jeez. 7%. Very unlikely, but let's give it a shot. Okay. Pretty much assumed. I need the right tool, then I can slide it free. All right. Ooh, a rope. Battered crate moldering in a sewer grime. Can use this to get the manhole cover off. It's in a bad state, but it might work with a proper tie. %. Oh, man. Rope is too brittle. I need the right tool. Maybe the steamer trunk? Gotta pick the lock or break it open. 47%. Oh my god. Multiple failures. Ugh. This isn't going well. The tumblers hardly have any give. Tosser. The mechanism's totally jammed now. Yeah, I forced it. 36% chance, but it finally worked. Canvas thuds pitifully against the deadbolt, but at least I've asserted myself. Always good to get the blood bumping. Good stash if I can't get inside. Hey, furnace automaton. Suppose not. Embers burning fiercely as if by the jewel-bright core of every flame on earth. Hot coals banked with an unsurpassed dexterity. Errors all but eliminated. Nothing to do here but stare at the flames. Keep staring. Keep staring. Keep staring. Here's a glimpse of the end. Oh boy. -5 hope. I got some... Back to weary. Oh man, I made all this progress to get to content. Alright, I don't yet have a tool. I'm going to have to get a tool at some point to open that manhole cover. Yeah, thanks, guy. I was trying. Alright, that means it's orphanage time. Paco Melendez. What's up, Paco? Oh, wait. Anything here? Okay, no. Orphanage. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this. Do 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 do. Grain sack. Okay, I've seen that now multiple times. This is going to be taken already by Clara. Royal Mail Service. I've seen that already. Mediocre ramen. Hold up a tick. Isn't there something you're forgetting? What's that? To have any chance at all of getting a peek of your records, you first need to prove who you are. And you're currently in your human form. Yes, of course. Time for my incantation. Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell from the air, and taste from the water. Touch down to the earth in another form. There, now on to more pressing matters. Mechanical odds and ends. Worth a little tin if you deal them to an engine man. Engine man! Splintered and worn down like everything else around here. Sec chat. Okay. Getting it delivered and getting ground chicken. They crow, coppers on the watch. Patience, I'll just have to use my wits to get inside or scare him off. Cellar door, easy enough. Smash it. Success. Bang. Outstanding. Through the creaking hatch and down the narrow wooden steps, you descend into an equally narrow passage. You hold your breath a moment against the cloying smells of earth and vermin and trail one hand along the wall during your brief sojourn in the dark. But soon enough you found the second set of stairs and a welcome sliver of light from the cracked door above. Even with the high ceilings, there's somehow an atmosphere of claustrophobia, and a cold shiver runs down your spine as you survey the parquet floors. The wooden wainscoting sits in silent testimony to the horrors that have transpired over the years. Despite the polished surfaces, there's a heavy musk within each air particle that could never be scrubbed away. You can almost see the shadows etched by the past and recall the role that you once played among them. Good writing. Okay. Hello, sister. The sister behind the counter is so focused on chewing her lip and reading over a piece of parchment that she doesn't even notice my appearance. Makes my skin jumpy just to watch her. With a twitch, she finally looks up. Yes. Is there something I can... why are you here? The sister's smiling rigidly, a weird heat in her eyes. Her lips quiver as if, were she to stop smiling, some dark energy would encroach even further upon Sacred Heart.
My name is Atticus Daly. Did you know Sister Eloise?
Indeed I did, God rest her soul. You may pay your respects in our churchyard. I am Sister Susanna. Was that all you wanted? If there's nothing urgent, I should get back to my duties. I didn't know it was a full-time job, keeping that desk from floating away. Convinced of your history?
My mother abandoned me at Sacred Heart many years ago. I want to see the note she left me.
Oh, I see. Well, we can't just allow anyone to poke through our files. Offer to make up for your past transgressions.
There's another bit of business as well. You see, when I left the orphanage, I stole some money from the office.
Well, that is quite a shameful thing to do, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be forgiven.
I should have never done it, but now I wish to make amends. Please accept this gift to Sacred Heart.
Oh, but this is a bank draft, and it's worth 40 shillings. How generous of you.
I commend you, Atticus. Put a sock in it, crone.
Bloody hell, it's like she doesn't think I have any sort of moral compass. This may not seem like a lot of money, but I promise every farthing will go towards the children's care and placing them in paying jobs. Plus, I'm up to 50 content now. There's a half second of hope in her eyes, immediately overpowered by trepidation. His keys for the cabinet in the office. Perhaps your mother's note is in there, but I can't be sure. I cannot leave my desk or I'd take you there myself.
Much obliged, good sister. Might I ask you something else?
Of course. What's on your mind? Sorry, this voice is...
Forgive my curiosity, but can you provide any details about the police being on watch here?
Well, 2 of my charges were stolen from their beds in the dead of night, so the police are here in whatever capacity they deem necessary. Between you and me, I doubt there'll be any help at all. That's usually how it goes with the bobbies.
Very well, sister.
How could I forget the door to the kitchen? We would always try to sneak in to steal scraps. The cook was rather quick to the draw with that spatula. Gives me the shivers even now. Okay. Enter the office. A dilapidated room with peeling paint. Some of the windows are sealed shut with grime, making the air close and stifling. Luckily, one window has a few busted panes, admitting a breeze now and then. File cabinets full of gloomy records, orphans unlikely to find a home. Sister Susanna has a head for names and numbers, and she tends to the business here. And the third is a strong gentleman. Even so, the papers pile up against the walls, towers of yellow pages that'll surely decompose before anyone reads them. You hope to find the records you're searching for deep within the rabbit hole of paperwork that is the office. In the flower pot? Pin-cushion flowers with wilting leaves, implying neglect by the sisters. Someone will water them soon. They're dying for sure, but they've got some road ahead. 55 content. Now then, what kind of goods do we have here? Well, I'll be lollipops. Theseus' corpse, I feel incredible. Wonderful what a sugar rush can do. Guts are heaving. Oh, darn it. Shouldn't overdo it when it comes to sweets. Damn it. I gained 10 and lost 10. Blah. I overindulged. I worried about that. I was like, maybe this isn't a good idea, but not so much. The modest flame is well tended enough that one could step away and feel the warmth in a few hours' time. Not like the old days when we had to burn our bedposts. Perhaps the sisters are harvesting from the woods around the building. Or else they always hoarded the good firewood and left us to break our beds apart. There were happier times, right? Stack of books in good condition, the titles on their debossed covers glittering in the daylight. Weighty expectations, trying times, I know of these. Not exactly paeans to British politics. With materials like this on hand, the sisters must care deeply for the dispossessed. An ancient hulk of hardwood cabinets, sturdy enough to house a collection of cannonballs, but currently stuffed with dusty old files. Okay, self-discipline, 94% chance. I would have been upset if I failed that. Okay, I've gained the confident trait. We'll be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. Letter D, daily, daily, daily. Aha, my file's still intact. Thank the fates for bookkeeping. As if by design, a small and neatly folded piece of paper falls from the file folder and into my hand. Matilda's letter. Dear sisters, I'm forever in your You know what I'm saying, Guy Shield? That would have been like, I assume you would have still succeeded, but there would have been a consequence. This is very much a fail-forward type of game in a lot of ways. Not always, but... Dear sisters, I'm forever in your debt should you read this message. With the care of my helpless babe, I must trouble you with one other request. Let my child's name remain Atticus Daly so that his heritage might not be lost. His given name is Atticus, and his surname is his father's. My heart is split with grief for leaving you this burden, but the sapphire is genuine, and if you sell the ring for expenses, then so be it. Before God, I will try to correct this turn of fate, but Atticus's life would be stolen if I should keep him. Upon my honor, I will try to make our family whole again, but for now I am robbed of this privilege. I beg for your kindness and apply for your patience with a promise to return, Matilda Hathaway Daly. She signed with 2 surnames, and that's ever so important now. If Hathaway is a match at Bethnal House, then I can confirm her identity. As for my father, mysterious Mr. Daly, assuming he was the one to have her committed, and she's been there all this time, then he probably tried to destroy the marriage record. Some people stop at nothing to preserve their reputation. Then it's off to... what's this? It's Leo's file. Leonardo Longo, light-skinned, dark of eye, dwarf of Italian origin, missing, presumed deceased, December 1868. This is difficult to read. I just turned 13 and run away when I heard. No next of kin established, case considered closed. The tin ribs probably didn't even look for him. Just another dead orphan. And I barely thought about him after. Too many sunrises on the horizon. The sun's a lot blurrier now most mornings. Makes me wonder why I never looked closer back when my vision wasn't so often double. What else have I forgotten? What else did I ignore? That's enough of that. All that remains now is the delicate matter of getting access to Bethnal House. Clementine could help with that. She was out on the town with a patient handler there, and one of Clem's gin twists would hit just the spot, to the Palladium. Okay. Lots of heavy paperwork was done at this desk, mostly petitioning the parish for more funding, but also an adoption form every now and then. The sisters may be hardier than they look, but the lock in the drawer is flimsy. 50-50! Yay, let's go. Capital, now what's inside? Couple of coins and not enough to be missed. -5 hope. Someday I'll answer for behavior such as this, perhaps to the fates themselves. I need to pay my rent, man. I'm content. All right. So now we're just going to look at the rest of this, and then and then after we've had a chance to look at the rest of the place. Then we will head out and we will wrap up for the night. Table's big enough for a grand banquet. Right? Seriously, Hellness. But they've struggled to feed 2 orphans all these years. The picture looks familiar, but I can't quite recall who it is. 85%? Okay, good. Likely Sister Annabelle. Can't remember much of her. She was up in years when I was a tot. Probably buried in the graveyard, the poor thing. Always ashamed to see giants so unassailed. I really need to get a hold of myself. First it's voices speaking in my head, next it's tilting at Big Ben. Yeah, the Don Quixote power. What's that leather-bound diary doing out in the open? It's as if someone wanted to have their innermost thoughts laid bare for others to read. I'll bite. Let's see what its owner had to share. Some pages are missing. I'm left with entries penned several days apart from one another. Day 6 reads, food getting less Food getting less edible with each passing day. Theodora broke her teeth upon biting into a really hard slice of bread. Didn't eat mine, though I used it to knock out an airborne pigeon. Those go well with salt and pepper. Sorfin couldn't wait for staff members to provide something edible, so they took matters into their own hands. Day 24, borrowed recipe books from sisters. Cakes and meat dishes had me drooling on the page. We'll try to sneak out of the orphanage and look for bakeries and butcher's shops. Reminds me of my younger self, though reading the books was as far as I got. Day 35, Butcher thought I was too much of a whippersnapper to carry carcasses without hurting my back. We'll try Baker next. Besides, I can't stand flies. What? Everyone loves flies. Day 37. Baker relished my knowledge of hard recipes. Will he take me in before relocating his business to the east? Maybe this has a happy ending. Day 39. Got hired and moving away from London with a baker. Well, they were luckier than I ever was. Perhaps the diary was their way of letting the sisters know where they'd gone. Or a polite way of saying, if you'd wanted me to stay, you should have fed me better by serving flying rats with salt and pepper. Worn-out Bibles and books on theology competing against piles of dust for shelf space. Okay, what's that in the empty cabinet? As I succeed on wit. Bully, it's a handful of glittering gears. I can fetch a price for these from an engine man. For the few visitors that make the trip to the Sacred Heart, just a couple of notes and signatures and a smattering of doodles by the orphans. Wow, there's all this stuff that I wouldn't have checked if I just ran quickly out. Jeez, look at the size of you. What do you do for a living, juggle anvils? Yes, and it beats sitting around an orphanage staring at the wall. Ha, a mouth as big as his biceps.
I'm big, but I'm actually a nice fellow. I'm an orphan myself. I was raised here. Well, name's Atticus. What's yours?
Oh yeah, no kidding, Illness. Dunno if niceness gets you anywhere in life. Round here it'll get you picked on and that's it. Anywho, I'm Scarlet. Why on earth would anyone come back to this dung heap? When I get a bit older, my backside's the last thing they're going to see of me.
I'm investigating the disappearance of 2 orphans, Bertram and Julie. Do you know them?
You know Bertram and Julie? Yeah, I saw it happen. It was 3 toughs, big fellas like you. They snatched little Julie and tossed her in a grain sack as easy as picking a cat up off the ground. Hold on, chat. When Bertram tried to defend her, he only got himself snatched right alongside her.
Anyone try to stop them?
We were all too afraid. I meant the sisters that I guess the kids are used to relying on themselves.
Did you get a look at the kidnappers' faces?
They all wore kerchiefs across their faces. Couldn't see anything save for the eyes. Poor girl's still frightened. Better leave it be.
Fair enough. Take care now, Scarlet.
See you around, Mr. Atticus. Used to always fight for the warmest beds, closer to the fireplace. Okay, class photo. Faded old photograph of Sacred Heart's ragamuffins. I remember when it was taken now you had to stand still for so long it seemed like a week. They took one of these photos every year, provided there was money for it. Judging by the lack of any more recent images, they must have stopped hiring a photographer at all. Everyone looks so tiny. Well, except for me. There beside me is Leo, the only friend I ever had at the orphanage aside from Heloise. Leo was a dwarf and got picked on just as much as me, but he'd never back down for a fight, so he got the worst of it. Barely 14 when he went missing. The guilt I felt for leaving without telling him doubled after I heard. I remember now that I ran away less than a week prior. Horrible timing. Alright, so I've gathered a lot of information here, which is good. And that means I should be just about finished with this place. Just an old Bible, or is it? 90% chance, okay. It's a hollowed-out Bible with an opinion book inside. Bloody wonderful idea. Happy to see the tradition was upheld. Can't help but wonder what the young tearaways have to say about one another in the staff. Let's see. Scarlet. Not many friends unless you count the ones she knitted clothes for and sewed buttons on. Poor Scarlet. At least her doll won't pick on her like whoever wrote this entry. Oh, what do we have here? Bertram hangs about with a yellow-haired cut-purse who gloats about joining the circus. Orphans and street urchins cavorting together. It's not uncommon when conditions at the orphanage force them to run away. And Sister Susanna, all sorts of rum. One moment she flashes a wistful smile at the orphans. The next, she bursts into tears and walks away. Do we remind her of someone she loved? Someone she lost? Orphans come and go through adoption, the workhouses, or death. Likely she's trying not to get too attached to her charges. Easier said than done. Always looked at that map and dreamed about how far I'd get away from here as soon as I left. Whoops. Completely missed that. My bad. My old desk. I can vaguely recall leaving myself a message. Success. Good. I like the writing so far, Dunny. It's a good question. I'm not sure if I would put a number grade on it. I'd say that this is solid. It's solid writing. Some subtlety to it. The pace of the whole game is a little slow, but I like the character development of this and the fact that the characters are very different from each other. Atticus, you're probably still ugly. Remarkably prescient. Come now, Atticus. True beauty lies beneath the flesh. Okay. Meter stick, chalkboard, student, and then I'm outie, and I gotta save and close up shop for the day. Vicious instrument of punishment in Vestal hands. Never fall asleep in class if you want your knuckles to remain unwrapped. How can one be expected to learn and internalize life lessons if they can't feel safe in a classroom of all places? I wonder if the old crone is Heloise. Ah, fond memories. Sister Heloise had Leo right. I will not ask Cyclops' rude questions 50 times. He deserved it. He asked if they had one of everything. Oh my god. A little girl with curly red hair is staring intently at the book in her hands. Little is right. Either she's small for her age or that engineering text is far too advanced for her. She looks up at me, her face a picture of frustration. Ugh, how does the combustion chamber keep from getting wet? Pretty good on self-discipline. Perhaps you should start with something simpler than the internal components of a boiler? How am I ever going to learn anything if I'm scared of it being too complicated? Her face screws up like she just took a bite from a large raw onion. Did you hear that Trudy destroyed another toilet? Better not ask for details. And she went to Sister Susanna, and you know what she said? I'd love to know what she said. She said Mimi did it, as if I would do such a monstrous thing. Mimi snaps the book closed to accentuate her point. I need to get out of here, and the best way out is an apprenticeship, so I need to learn how the combustion chamber stays dry. She's right. Driven and right. I wish I could help you. When I was growing up here, I wanted to get out as soon as I could. Really? What did you grow up to become? Don't say a gin bibber. I suppose I'm still figuring that out. I keep forgetting his voice. Well, I don't have time to think about it. After what happened to Julie and Bertram, I need to leave soon, and it can't be for the workhouse.
I heard about what happened to Julie and Bertram. What else can you tell me?
Well, I didn't see them vanish, of course, but the sisters told us they had to suddenly leave to go and work in a cannery. They said they would come to visit. She knows as well as I did when the nuns are disingenuous. So I snuck out. I went to the cannery by the wharf. I looked around. Julie and Bertram weren't there. I even asked some workers, and nobody knew a thing.
You sure it was the right place?
Of course it was. They were my only friends here, and now they've disappeared.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you become an engineer and escape this life.
She doesn't reply. Instead, she opens the book back up, staring at a diagram with rapt attention. Okay. Nothing else to say, right, Mimi? Right, okay, cool. Right. I think this is just about it. Yes, it is. Okay, great. Cool. I am glad I did not just get out of the orphanage after I picked up what I needed, because I got some extra info in there, especially with that, with the orphans thing, which reminds me, I should probably do that one. Find out who kidnapped the orphans, because I made some good references there, so. Oh, right, I have to go to Cable Street. Okay, Cable Street, and then we save. Quickly, stone bench. Used to sit here with Heloise. What's that balled up piece of paper below it? There's a reminder at the bottom. Whoever's swapping out the mass traps in the cellar will recall that there are keys in the groundkeeper's shack. The same angel from my opium dream, more weathered than in my memory. Okay. Oh, geez. All right. I would love to be able to talk to each of these people, but I have got to get going because I'm running a little bit over, so. However, chat, we will have more of this to come. Fear not. Really enjoying this, though. This is good stuff. As I say, it's a slow burn type of game. If you don't like a lot of reading, then, you know, probably not the best idea. But there's a lot of interesting character development in this and very cool world building. And it also feels a little to me, I don't know, Disco Elysium just feels so incredibly depressing to me, and this doesn't seem to have the same approach, you know? So I appreciate that, I have to say. Okay. But that, chat, is going to do it for me for now, and I can see that it's getting dark out here. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Oh, you got soft locked in it? I only played it for about 4 hours, 3-4 hours, but anyway, this was a good time. So next week we should have some D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh coming up. It's possible there may have to be a reschedule, but hopefully not. Oh, geez, yeah, great. That sucks. Yeah, the whole rolling till I actually accomplished. I got the one at the beginning where you can make him smile. It's like a 2% chance, and I nailed it. And then I was like, good, I've done what I need to do. No, I played more than that, but still. But this is fun, Sovereign Syndicate, so you should definitely check this out. So next week, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and then, as I say, back to some more Sovereign Syndicate, which we're going to be doing as well. And yeah, it does sound annoying, Dunyan. I like this so far, and I will be doing more of it over time. Kilgore Trout is going to be back with you in a couple of hours. He's going to be playing some more Deus Ex, and I will be back on my own channel. First of all, tomorrow night, if you want to watch some more RPG stuff, we have Waterdeep Community D&D, which is Waterdeep Dragon Heist. That'll be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I will be back right here next week for episode 417 of Pen and Pixels. Well, thank you, Infinity Simplex. Always a pleasure. Pen and Pixels with more of D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I'll also be on my own channel Thursday evening with some more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, if that sounds of interest to anybody. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow the channel. Please subscribe to us here on GOG.com. You can get some custom sub badges and emotes to use here and everywhere across Twitch, DRM free, of course. And then you can also check in our individual channels, because we have our own individual subsystems and Patreons and stuff like that that you can check out when you get the chance. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Very much appreciate it. And I will be back to you folks, as I say, right back here next Tuesday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern for Pen and Pixels, or on my own channel tomorrow night / Thursday night for more cool games as well, and more of Sovereign Syndicate to come down the line also. Otherwise, everyone have a lovely evening. Don't forget about Kilgore Trout in a few hours, back here with Deus Ex, and I will catch all you people soon. Until then, everyone be good to each other, and have a good night.
Searching